Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel where the fun never ends with Mandela Effects. I have joined with us, thankfully, I've got Life Matrix, I've got Ty Zimmer, and Teresa Lynch. We've got more people coming on later in the show. We've got some breaking news for you guys and stuff you probably won't see on regular national media. And here to talk about is, well, Teresa found it, but there is some kind of, looks like possible blue beam, possible plasma weaponry over California right now. So what is this? What is this exactly you found here, Teresa?
It looks like they're doing some kind of testing or something going on in LA, like a blue beam type of thing going on. Like, I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know this is all.
I saw that.
I don't have all the information.
Who is that? Is that Troy?
Unirock. What's up, man?
Hey, man, what's up? How's it going?
You might know.
Hang out.
Let me share my screen so I can. So
is it the that big blue thing up in the sky with a little dot inside of it in Cali?
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about it, Uni or Life Matrix?
I've seen many of these. Like I've seen a whole bunch of these before.
What
okay,
did
so
it end up
seen
being? What did it end up being, Uni?
I don't remember. No one really knew, but they were in Florida. There was a big one. One of the first videos I did. Let me see if I can find it. It looks almost just like that thing.
Because that looks like a wake. It looks like a wake. It looks like it's going, and then there's a wake. Who knows what it is? I mean, from the type of
got some kind of chemtrail behind it or something.
Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, Brian, I'm going to drop you a link. It's the first video in this link. I swear to God, it looks exactly like this thing. Here, I'll drop it in the chat right here.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Uni.
Anytime, man.
Great, thanks. So, Life Matrix and I we were talking about a lot of things while we're waiting for this video to be pulled up. Oh wow!
Doesn't that look just like that?
Okay. So as you guys know, some other news is that the Mandela Effect is actually going to be featured in a X-Files episode in January of next year, along with the 2018 movie.
Hey,
yeah.
You know what? I would really I'd watch it just to see Scully. I know it's scripted. I know it's completely scripted, but I'd watch it just to see how Scully tries to explain away everything. I'd love it. You know what I mean? Anything to see Gillian Anderson trying to explain their way out of it. You know?
She's like logical and everything.
Sure, right. I love it. I love it. Now, oh, wait a second. Now look at that, Uni.
Yeah, that's one of my first videos I ever did.
That's the one he sent me. Wow. So this is going back all the way to January?
Oh yeah, and that's probably older than that because I mean I wasn't pulling fresh stuff. I was just putting together like highlights for a video. So
yeah, that's a great video right there.
That is
awake. That is awake, and that's probably it's a weapon. It looks like a weapon.
There's a few more of those in that video too. There's a few more.
I'm looking at them.
Oh,
but I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Oh man, I don't know. They say it could be a missile test gone wrong, but I don't see it myself. I don't see it as a missile test gone wrong, honestly.
Okay, well, how many people can agree the moon landing was false? How many people can agree it was possibly false, the moon landing?
Possibly? I could say possibly. I don't know if it's a fact.
Well,
I've tried to prove it, but...
Let me tell you, I am one that since the ME, I found that historical changes, just to preface this, okay?
Yeah.
The old knowledge that I used to have is not applicable. That the new knowledge, with the advent of the understanding that the NASA has lost all of the moon footage, all of the data, and they have said that they cannot go back to the moon because they simply don't have the technology anymore. They destroyed that technology. They don't have it. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. There's no way. There's no way, because you know as well as I do, the government saves everything. They don't throw that stuff away. And when I looked at it, as far as Mandela Effect goes, it is not what I remember the moon landing to be. Even the original moon landing, it's not even close to being the same thing.
Okay, I'm looking here at a video Scarab did 18 minutes ago.
Brian, I just found the Jinxploration one.
Okay.
There you go. I just
That's
found
fine.
it, the Jinxploration. There we
So,
go. This
many.
is it right here.
Okay, that's fine. Many. Listen.
I just sent you a link.
All right, that's fine.
His link is Jinxploration.
Thank you, Teresa. People are covering this right now. That's the thing. So, but we don't know until we know until we don't until we know what it is for sure. That's what I'm saying. Then it's just an observational thing. We don't know what this thing is, but it could be blue beam, it could be a missile test, it could be anything, it could be a comet. We don't know.
Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate Scarabperformance. I do. Different views aside, I appreciate what he does. But
that's a sight.
Labeling it the attack on LA is not a wise thing to do.
I get that point, but that is like really let's say scary. That video. I'd like to plug it into Photoshop real quick. I might download it real quick.
Knock yourself out, because you definitely can see what it is and see what it I hope it's not an attack on LA.
It's definitely.
Let's hope not.
See, that's why I don't think it's a missile test. I don't think it's a test, because why would it be above LA? Why would they test a missile above LA? That's insane.
They wouldn't go anywhere near. They wouldn't go anywhere near.
It looks UFO-ish. I think it does, because
could very well be. That's why I was asking where was it? Was it close to the military bases? With what's going on with the fires up there, and of course the theory that they're trying to depopulate the area.
How do I find that video? Is it like all over the place? What are they calling it right now? Like LA?
Just go to
There's one by Jinxploration.
Performance. He's got a good link.
I sent you a bunch, Brian.
Okay, thanks, Teresa.
Yeah, send Beauty one.
You're welcome.
I got it.
Okay, so the original video.
Did you get it, Uni?
Jinxploration, and she got 18 thumbs up with mine.
I was hoping that you could get already in HD, Uni. That's the idea. If you can get the highest quality video, so you can look at it.
To this day, I still don't know why our cameras aren't better. You would think they would be so much better than they were back when.
We saw Lone Eagles. We saw Lone Eagles with the cameras and what was going on. Maybe it's retrocausality, and maybe we're catching up. I don't know what's going on. It certainly is interesting. That does not look right.
No,
that does not look right there. That's not right.
It almost looks like somebody. It looks like a huge flare. Honestly, it does.
Looks like a whale. Looks like a whale.
Okay, found
whale.
Well, that's a wake. That's a wake. In front of it is a wake. You understand? That's a wake, and that's commonly. Now, I'm not a. You understand? Not an aerospace guy. I'm not a technical guy like that, but. From a sonic boom, that's the same type of thing that you get from a sonic boom.
And I know we've gotten slightly off track here. Just
really, you think?
Because we usually talk about Mandela effects. That's the channel that we cover Mandela effects. But we have to occasionally, drop a line about the news that's going on right now. Life Matrix, you've heard about. Actually, you did a video last night with. You did a video last night with Lazlow. You guys were on talking, and I like what you were saying about proving that we can keep on going with all these deaths of the celebrities and everything. Can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Talk about any experience you've had.
Yeah, I just, I feel in my heart that this is possibly, still can't prove it, right? But I think that this could very well be a personal effect to each of us. Lazlow and I have talked about this quite a bit. I've talked to SMQ about it. I've definitely talked to Scarab about it in the past. But even pretty much everyone I've interacted with in this community, and definitely the emails that I've received over this past 2 years, researching this phenomenon, this is the strongest point that people keep sharing with me, that they think they shifted through death to come here. And this is not their original reality, and somehow it was pieced back together, however it works. I'm not convinced this is what it is, but when you put together all the different celebrities, and it's strange that it's people that are so far removed from us, like celebrities, that we see, like Jim Neighbors dying again recently.
Right.
We're like, there's no way. And in this reality, Jim Neighbors sings like, amazingly. And he, you see these videos of him like on stage, and I never knew Jim Neighbors in that previous reality. I could have missed it, sure, but
it wasn't popular. He sang gospel. He sang gospel. That's why he sang gospel.
Okay, well,
he wasn't mainstream.
Okay, so that's fine. But the bottom line is that what this, is coined after, what the namesake of this phenomenon, the Mandela effect. Yeah, for many people, Nelson Mandela did indeed die in prison. But yet in this reality, things were made right. The guy didn't die in prison. I remember him dying in prison. I'm old enough to remember it. And, it wasn't until this effect took place and I became aware of the phenomenon that I realized, oh, wow, the guy is still around. It wasn't really until he died in 2013 that I put it all together. In fact, not really until the Mandela effect hit me late 2014 that I realized that, wow, I do have a conflicting memory of him dying in prison, but I personally don't remember him. I never saw the footage of him coming out of prison. I for sure did not experience him coming out of prison. The first time I've ever seen him coming out of prison is on YouTube. So do we shift through death and we just continue on like they do? Like I was telling you tonight, Brian, the show, the movie, The Discovery with Robert Redford. It's on Netflix. You guys should all see it. But one thing I will say is, don't get to believe in this too much to the point where you're going to go commit suicide like they do on that movie. But, I think this is a possibility because of all we see these people that it looks like, from our perspective, it looks like they received a second chance.
It's incredible.
Right,
Go ahead. Who wanted Ty?
Oh, no, go right ahead. I was just saying, I really, the reason why I appreciate Matrix is because you enunciate yourself quite clearly.
Yeah, he's good. Definitely good.
Yeah, it's very clear, whereas other people are maybe a little bit confusing, a lot of static, if you will. And I appreciate that. That's why I appreciate your channel and Yumi's channel, because you enunciate yourself, you make your points, and you're very good at it. And the same thing goes for, believe it or not, Lazlow, even though I think he needs something besides what appears to be a trailer to speak in half the time. But maybe we could do a GoFundMe for him to have a bigger house, a bigger stage. But the idea is that...
I agree with that, too. That was, because I've had the near-death experience, and I felt like I did die. And I've talked about that before, but it's so, like, mind-bending when it happens to you, and it's so powerful that it's went through my mind before I'd ever even heard about any of these types, before I was ever looking at YouTube a lot. So it's a very good point.
I hear what you're saying, but I see how you tied it into people's deaths. And quite the opposite, as I looked at it, about these people died already, and yet were alive. And then I saw them, quite coincidentally, dying. Was it Gene Wilder died? Okay, and he died again. So what I started doing is, and I'm on the lookout looking for people and aren't, and I'm waiting for them to die. Are they going to die in this reality? Within a certain time frame. You understand, like Wilford Brimley, or say you said like Jim Neighbors. I didn't know he was alive until I found out he was dead, and of course he died back in the '80s. In my reality, you understand, from my perspective or in my memory, however way you want to look at it. So I've started to watch people die or not. That's the point.
Well, and that's a good point, because what happens when, no one knows what happens when we die, literally die. I've had a near-death experience myself in 2015. It was July, and that's when somehow I was behind a vehicle. I ended up in front of the vehicle, and they hit me into the wall. And the car spun around and hit two cars behind them. I still don't know how I'm alive.
Wow.
I walked out of there only a bruise on my arm, but 2 days later I lost my eyesight. I don't understand it. I shouldn't have been alive, but I somehow the Lord let me live, or whoever up there likes me.
I'm getting chills. I remember you telling me that story previously, Brian, and it's really interesting because when we reverse engineer our lives, there are different waypoints where we can see where that could be the case for us. I can see 3 or 4. Lazlow, as when I spoke with him last night, he knows of a handful of times. When I really think about it and I reverse engineer my life, I'm like, yeah, there could have been a handful of times, including the time when I was on that quad runner and I freaking flipped off that quad runner. It almost, landed on top of me, but I did hit my head on the ground. And I remember waking up going, not waking up, I didn't black out, but I remember getting up going, whoa, I survived that? Oh man, this is a good day. And I didn't even feel like I hurt myself, but I went down pretty hard. And there's been numerous times like that. And I think the most recent shift for me could have been on the operating table in 2013. So, and if not that, the bottom line is maybe when we go under anesthesia, we can shift realities. That's also a possibility. You may not have to die. Could even be in our dreams when we go to sleep at night. Who knows?
Right. Very much so. It could be. It could be.
Anyone else want to comment on that before we change subject?
Well, like I said, it's a crazy thing. I don't believe that we are dead because I still pay taxes, amazingly. So I would say I can't. I was always told that when I die, no more taxes. I still pay taxes.
No, they'll tax us after that too, bro.
Exactly. I mean, I was married before, as were many of you, and so I've been through near-death experiences,
Well,
yeah, I feel that about sleep also. I've always felt that dreaming seemed otherworldish too much for me. I know it's supposed to be that way, but yeah, I
looked into this something completely different, but I have been talking to a scattering number of people who have seemingly the same dreams between us. We dream of the same type of reality when we go to sleep. It's kind of eerie, but that's even worse than talking about the Mandela effect. Really, really freaky. This is where you lose friends and associates very quickly when you start trying to link up your dreams to see if there's similarity. And there's a lot of similarity between the affected's dreams, it appears. But, I don't have any empirical evidence. It's just what our opinions are. You understand.
And that's just it.
It's very strange.
I feel like we all have this collective consciousness, or so you call it. You can call it like the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. There is something that connects us all, and there's got to be something to the Mandela effect, something further. Whether it's good or evil, we don't know for sure. But it's
I was looking into the possibility
in the Bible. That bothers a lot of people. There's something else too that I thought I'd mention to you guys. Rena found me something about. There's this kid's book that's out there now. It's called Santa's Husband. I'm not joking.
Right, I saw it.
You saw that one?
Sure.
I'll show it to you guys and let you have your.
Is it new or old though? Is it like newer or older?
It's new.
Okay.
It's new. October 2017. I do not recall this book. But it seems like they're sort of pushing some kind of agenda. I don't know.
Oh, they've been pushing an agenda for years, but this is really in your face now, of course.
Yeah,
but that's
no. That Life Matrix. I know you had something to say about that too. In fact, you had called me. I was on the way to I was in North Carolina visiting with my kids, and then I got a call to be on your show. It was amazing, and so we had these upside down Christmas trees. It's just. Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, I'm just
yeah.
I'm trying not to interrupt you.
It's very strange.
Have you heard of these, Unirock?
No, this is kind of shocking, honestly.
One of the things that I was going into, and I wanted to get your take on this, Life Matrix, and of course, Uni, as yours as well.
I think
is the idea of that we're dealing with the merging of fragments of parallel dimensions, and what we're actually having is quantum pollution. And I say that because there is no real rhyme or reason to what's going on, and it doesn't seem, it seems to react to something else. We're just observing the reaction. And I'm thinking of perhaps the possibility of us dealing with what's known as quantum pollution.
Yes, that I was going to ask. That's a good proposition. I was going to ask Life Matrix about that because
I think Life dropped.
Is he there?
Okay, so
I think he dropped off. He might come back in, but Hangouts is like that. It kicks you out and back in over and over.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes. So do you have an opinion on that?
Quantum, you said pollution, kind of?
Pollution.
Well, let me say this. Like, I've always been in the camp that, like, I believe that so many people have said, like, and I was putting that little thing into Photoshop we were looking at earlier, and I think it's actually a picture taken out of the sky. It's definitely been recorded, so it doesn't look fake at all. That's what I was checking it for in the beginning. But anyway, what I was thinking is that let me turn off my screen share. You know, when they do like, so many people kind of judge others that think maybe that, you know, when you see all these videos, CERN is not responsible for this or that or these issues. And, you know, I don't think anyone's ever, maybe some people say CERN is responsible or particle colliders, but I feel that if we, I feel like none of us, not even the scientists, you know, not even astronauts, not even, you know, NASA, I don't think that they really know what they think they know. I think the largest majority of all of them fully believe what they've been inducted into believing. I don't think they look at any of the data with a fresh set of eyes and just go neutral. I don't think, like,
oh, absolutely, yeah. I think they're thoroughly indoctrinated, for sure. Absolutely.
And I don't think that they consider the possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they sit and pick at, and they literally do pick at the very, very, very foundation of whatever you call this place. I call it reality or the universe, but whatever you call it, there is a foundation. It is little tiny bits. It is these little either waves or little tiny dots, and they're there, and we pick at them. And I think it is possible, in my opinion, that we could damage it, or we can start chain reactions, or whatever words you want to use. You know what I'm saying? So, right, like,
chain reactions would be considered quantum pollution.
Well, exactly.
That's what the chain reaction.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. You know, right. Like, if any, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying if it could, if anything, from a nuclear weapon, whether they're real or not, but if they're there and they're using them, or like these strange experiments where we kind of pick and prod. Because I read one that said when we looked for the Higgs boson particle that it kind of particle. Yeah, I kind of pulled it out of, or it kind of pops it out of reality. And that's or not reality, but what that word I just said, universe, reality, whatever you describe it as. Sure. And if you are, only if they are popping little pieces out to examine them, I do think it's possible that there could be an effect from that. Do I think it's this thing we're looking at? I just think it's possible. I don't think it is, but you get what I'm saying? So I believe that any of this stuff we're bringing up is highly possible, in my opinion.
Yes, and the thing is that at least it is something that is, I would like to say, plausible. It's plausible. But then again, you know, the way the world works now, I could pick up the USA Today, just throwing that out there, or the Wall Street Journal, and find out that, oh, wait a second, it's not D-Wave computers. It isn't CERN. It's our cell phones doing it. Huh. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if something else is the catalyst that's making this happen. Who knows? But I go for, you know, the quantum pollution only because it's a nice buzzword. It's nice, and it does explain a lot, and it certainly would explain. Again, my biggest thing is, how do you explain the residuals? How do you explain the greatest example that I have personally, with talking with people who believe in the ME just like I do, or should I say, experience the ME like I do, is a gentleman that I found very early on. I even forget his name. Where I know that from my reality, in my memory, the Lindbergh baby was never found. It was a huge thing. The Lindbergh baby was never found. I happened upon another gentleman who knows about the Lindbergh baby, and he said, hey, I understand what you're saying about the Lindbergh baby. I believe in the Mandela effect just like you. But the Lindbergh baby was in fact found a week later. He was dead. They even killed the guy. I've been saving the clippings of the stories for years, and I still have them. So right away, I knew that something had to be wrong with reality. If the guy, I believe that to be truthful. You see, he sent me messaged me a couple clips, and I said, "Well, that's got to be something. There's got to be something to this," because I know the Lindbergh baby in my reality was never found, but yet he's got clippings of the Lindbergh baby being found, and furthermore, the guy who killed the baby was put to death. And I just thought that to be completely strange. So I thought, yeah, I said maybe there's something wrong with reality. You see, and so that's what really got me started to think of this residual problem. A lot of the theories out there are wonderful, but you got to include the residuals. And quantum pollution would allow for residuals.
Well, here's the thing. Something I learned today, and this is raise my credit now.
Mm-hmm.
Says that George Washington was a ginger and never wore a wig, and neither did he have wooden teeth.
I don't know. Let's call him and see. He's probably still alive in this reality.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. It was too easy. It was too easy.
I know that was meant to be funny. But I asked my dad. He knows all the presidents, and even he remembers George Washington having a wig. So
Sure.
That to me could be a possible Mandela. I don't know about you guys. He had the white curly hair. And then we're talking about Uncle Sam, and I know you mentioned the residual. There's a ton of residual you can find on his hat being like having these red and white stripes. Life Matrix, what do you remember? Do you remember Uncle Sam having white stripes on his hat?
Yeah, so I definitely remember. I remember the stripes, absolutely.
Gosh.
Absolutely, I do too.
I know we talked about
and that's the other thing that gets me about the Mandela effect between everyone. The one thing that really is a mind bender is the fact that the Mandela effect or the quantum effect keeps moving. It keeps changing. I would appreciate if it would just stop and then we could just look at what we found, but we go back and we see that it changed further or it did a flip-flop. Frustrating to me. Where I go, wait a second, wasn't it the other way? And it goes back and forth. That drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives you guys crazy too.
Well, I want to pose a question, and I know you guys have seen the Isaiah 11:6 change. Sure. I'm sure that where the wolf laying down with the lamb or dwelling with the lamb. I don't remember the word "also" being there, and I know me and Ty talked about this because it now says the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb. I don't remember the word "also" is what I'm saying. That sounds to me like it might have changed again. So we're seeing multiple changes in logos and these words and everything. It just keeps changing. The Ford logo, Lazlow brought this up on one of his videos about the Ford logo going through multiple changes.
Right.
What do you think about that? I mean,
again, to one end, I think it's quantum pollution, and quantum pollution actually points to a fact that there's a number of realities. There's more than just one. There's more than just two. That the probability, the idea is that there's lots and lots of realities. And what we see here, what happens here, in effect, is that say you have four gentlemen sitting here. It's Brian, it's Life Matrix. Okay, we're all sitting here, and we can have all suffer from the Mandela effect. However, we can all believe differently about the Mandela effect, meaning that we could be from in reality from different sources, from different places. Like Brian, you and I, as you know, we don't agree on every Mandela effect change. I don't share every memory that you have. That's strange. The Mandela effect as it is, as you told me about the movie that was coming out, I'm sure they're not going to address that issue that people don't agree within the Mandela effect community. They want everyone to agree. And what's happening is more and more people are diverging. And I think what's happening through quantum pollution, it's just an idea, it's just a thought. I think through quantum pollution, you're going to see more and more of these people falling into what is different camps. What people say the Orion, what is it, the Orion belt, the Sagittarius arm. I think that you're going to have an influx of people that have even different memories from what we're used to. I was talking to a lady very quickly because I don't want to monopolize everything. I was talking to a lady who said that there were 52 states. And I said, really, that's strange. What 52 states? What do you remember? And she said, Washington, D.C. was a state and Cincinnati was a state. And I said, that's crazy. She goes, yeah, I know. It's just, I know it doesn't, I know it's nowhere. And people are telling me I'm nuts. I said, no, it's not crazy that you're saying it. It's crazy because I've heard it before. This exact same thing before. Someone else had told me Cincinnati and Washington, D.C. So you're getting identical things from people that are otherwise what I would deem to be normal people or sane people. And they're saying Cincinnati, they're saying Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., I think, if I've read correctly, is its own country or it's a sovereign.
Yes, it's separate. It is a district. Yeah. It's a district of Columbia. It is in my reality. It's just separate. It's not a state. It's just separate. So it's not. What I'm trying.
Go ahead.
That it's not the first time. It wasn't Washington D.C. that threw me for a loop because that's common, like Uni just said. That's common.
I just was remembering.
But Cincinnati is awfully specific. If I were to make a movie, a sci-fi movie, I certainly wouldn't say, "Hey, Cincinnati, let's go, make that a state." No, never. And now it's happening again and again, where people are saying Cincinnati was a state unto itself. So that is strange. So be on the lookout for Cincinnati being a state. Perhaps these people are coming from somewhere else. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that Zelda?
Yeah, my phone. Yeah, I got Zelda on. That's my ringtone or my message tone.
Guys, something was brought up to me earlier by Josh Speed, and he asked me how many bridges do I remember in New York City. The only ones that I know maybe 9, but I come to find out, and he found out there are 2,000 bridges in New York City alone.
There's a lot of conspiracy around the bridges right now too.
There seems to be a lot more bridges than there used to be. New York. I mean, I'm not a New York buff, but that seems to be quite a few number of bridges. Seeing that Pittsburgh has 447.
And I mean, if you're a smart person, you're going to obviously avoid the bridges that have tolls. You're going to go over the ones that do not have tolls, right? I mean, they all can't have tolls, but
right, sure.
I don't know.
If you're smart, you wouldn't live in New York. You'd get out. The taxes are too high. You know? That's
interesting. Also, interestingly enough, Pittsburgh has 446 bridges.
Right, 446. And Pittsburgh is 3 rivers. The whole thing is surrounded by water. There's bridges all over that place. And New York has 2,000, and Pittsburgh has 446. Oh, give me a break. I don't believe it.
I know.
It's all about, you go through 2 or 3 bridges to get to your mailbox in Pittsburgh.
I'm kind of wondering here because I know Lone Eagle would have a ballpark with this one. He would have a ball game with it.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah.
Is he from New York or Pittsburgh?
No. But I'm just saying, like, because he's been studying the coastlines and everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lone Eagle came up with something that was very nice. I liked it. Credit to Lone Eagle. He came up with the idea that he went to the Grand Canyon. He personally visited the Grand Canyon, and he said, I have to share this. And he said, the Colorado River has changed because there's another river that connects to the Colorado River called the Little Colorado River. And he used Google Earth. He highlighted everything, and he said, look, painstakingly, I made a trip to the Grand Canyon. Painstakingly went through each part that I was going to visit. He said 6 months it took me. This little Colorado River was never here. It was never here. I'm telling you, it was never here. I would have remembered it. I would have seen it. I was there. I was right here. There was no river, and now there is. That's some pretty good factual information, personal information. It's a personal Mandela effect to him. He was there. He cataloged the trip. He planned the trip. He says that the little Colorado River was never there. That's awesome information. I never have heard of the Little Colorado River either. The strange thing about the Little Colorado River is that there's no dams on the river. And of course, what do they like to do in Colorado? What do they like to do around the Grand Canyon? My gosh, if there's any water, dam it up. That's what they do down there. That's what they do. They dammed up the river. And the Little Colorado River doesn't have any dams on it at all, which he thought was very strange. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I've never heard of the Little Colorado River either.
I know. I haven't heard it either. That's what do you think? I mean, Life Matrix, that's over there and on your side of the country. What do you think about Little River?
Little Colorado
River there.
Yeah, Colorado River. I've never heard of it, but then again, I've not really been over in that part of town, so to speak.
Okay.
But did you guys see the Rainbow Mountains in Peru now?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, and that just freaked me out. It brought nightmares back to Rainbow Bright. You know what I mean? And Rainbow Bright back. Woo!
Oh my gosh! And hey, man, I'm all about rainbows, and I'm hetero. But yeah, hey, you know, I mean, and in Oregon as well, apparently.
What?
Did you see the ones
Oregon
in Oregon?
has Rainbow Mountains?
No.
Oh, I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that for 1 second. You know, if they would go see the Golden Arch in St. Louis, okay, they would be outnumbered 150,000 to 1 going to see Rainbow Mountains. I don't believe it for 1 second.
Hang on, we have some in China now. Is this something new? Did you guys hear about Rainbow Mountains in China?
Peru is the one that I heard about. Which was
For me, China was the first.
Okay. Well, that's
China was the first time.
To me, this looks like a Rick and Morty episode right here.
You know, it looks like somebody just took, like, you know, sand and just created it. You know, just, you know, like those little sand art things you do. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's great. We would have seen that. We would have known that all through our schooling, all through it. No. As much time that we spend online the last 10 years, no. No. That's I would say that's a Mandela for sure.
And we have Life Matrix. Did you see the video I did on scorpions?
Yeah, man. They had 6, not 8.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hey, and that is important because we do need to know how many appendages that these things have. But it's Mitchell, Oregon. They actually call them painted hills, so it is a real thing, you guys.
Of course.
Painted hills.
Painted hills in Mitchell, Oregon, my friends.
Yeah, look that up.
If you want to present me, I'll show it to you.
The thing is that I've heard of painted hills. I have heard of painted hills before, and let me see the picture, because if this is truly rainbow, there's no way, because this, like I said, people would be flocking to this thing just like the Grand Canyon, if it's rainbowish. No.
Oh
No. People would be flocking here. This would be like the Grand Canyon. Got to go see this. Absolutely.
No way.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow.
No, because you remember in my reality, they would go to see standing rocks in the middle of the desert, the rock formations. Oh, that's great. You know, like an episode of Breaking Bad. They'd go out there to see that in the desert. You know what I mean? So they would definitely flock into this. I'm not kidding. That's what they would do. So I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Well, it would be on my Windows desktop for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Bill Gates would have made this #1. Would have said, make that.
Hey, I'm waiting for these hills to make it down to California, man. You guys, please let me know when they arrive.
Right, sure. Yeah. They're having trouble with the flights right now. I don't know when the mountains are going to be made in there, but they'll probably be there. Yeah. But I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. That, along with the extra large grasshoppers, are freaky.
No, I don't think that's real, you guys. I researched that today. I mean, they're not the big 3-4 foot ones. That's not real. That was a hoax back in the day.
But the large, even the large ones, they're large enough. They're bigger than your hand. I'm a little bit astounded.
Which true. I mean, there are some that are definitely. I mean, there's real video. That's the thing we have to look for, even though that can be fake too. But I've seen real video of bigger than average grasshoppers. But the one like the Lazlow thing, he put one out last night saying that There's ones out there, the 3-4 foot long. No, those have not existed as far as I know. That was a hoax.
Right. I really want grasshoppers that if I have to kill them, I just want not to use a baseball bat. I want just to be able to get rid of them. You know, I don't want to be freaked out by grasshoppers.
That's scary. That's scary.
Well, the glowing sharks look like something from a freaking like cartoon. Yeah. They really do.
Glowing sharks.
What about the blue lions?
What?
The blue
My
lions.
mind is getting blown right now.
Blue lions and black chickens.
I've noticed.
When I mean black chickens, I mean black chickens, black eggs, black.
I know. I've known about those for months, but the blue lions are new for me.
Yeah, blue lions. Let's look at blue lions. Yeah, blue lions, and this is a little bit freaky. This isn't Photoshop.
Oh my!
Let's take a look at a blue lion. Don't use an S. Just use blue lion singular and see what comes up. It is blue lion.
You have to look at the actual video because of the Photoshop.
I do like when you put in blue lion that Voltron comes up too. I like that. That's
yeah, that was one of my favorite shows.
There's a new one. It's really good on Netflix.
Well, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Any Voltron fans out there?
Oh yeah. Lupo makes me watch it when he comes over.
I'd like to see. It would be interesting to see if any of these are photoshopped. Or if you can
none of these are good. Put in the word wild and see if you come up with something.
That's a good.
That's why you have to look for the video of it. Yeah. And
go on video. See if you find anything. Video.
So you can go ahead and present me. I found the video of it that Lazlow used. So let me show you guys here.
All right.
It's right here, and I mean apparently it's an ancient blue lion. Let's see what it says here. Hold on. So ancient blue lion found. So, could this be Photoshop? I mean, could it be After Effects or something? Possibly, but it's not like there's a bunch of these roaming around. Apparently,
it's a pretty good job. It's done in 2013. That's the publishing date on the video. So it is almost 5 years old now.
Wow.
And it's very good. You don't see any overlap of anything.
And his eyes are blue too.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Interesting is right.
It just seems like this would be like logged in history, like somewhere, if it had been going on for a long period of time. Like if our ancestors would have seen things like this, they would have written it down somewhere.
Well, in retrocausality, that's what happens. That's the problem. We go back and go, oh yeah, blue lion, sure, Dr. Seuss, he was right. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You know what I mean? I don't like that at all. But that's the problem with this thing. We go back and we look and we find out, oh yeah, they've been around forever. I don't like that. When we've never heard about it.
I think the thing about this freaking crazy phenomenon is most people don't notice it because it's not showing up in their daily lives. If it was something that every day you walk outside and something was different or unusual, then we'd have something. But it's kind of kept at bay. It's almost like the AI or whatever's in charge of it, God, the intelligence behind this, is like it's just playing with us. It's just like, here's a little bit of this, here's a little bit of that. We're going to change this and see how they react. Somebody's playing with the game.
That's really bizarre.
I believe that. I really do.
Right.
We have blue dogs too in India.
Yes.
Life Matrix.
No, I have not seen that.
There's blue dogs in India. I did a video about this, I think.
Oh no!
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
That's just wrong.
That's wrong. And if we had them, we'd already have them here.
I don't understand what the point is to put food coloring in that dog's water.
Right.
That dog's gonna come up. What's
I know.
What is it?
Blue's Clues?
Blue's Clues. There you go.
Yeah, the changes do seem conscious, my friends. They really do. There's some kind of intelligence behind this phenomenon.
That's what I've been saying, but I don't win too many friends that way.
Because the thing is, it's not like we walk out our door like someone made the point, and all of a sudden the sky is purple unless it's a sunset. But you know what? We don't see these anomalies that where everybody will be going WTF. You know, it's like they're very subtle changes to where only, well, us are noticing for the most part.
Right.
I didn't know there was such thing as a humpback dolphin. Is that new? I don't know. I've only heard of bottlenose.
They can play around with the names at any time. That's what they do. But
false killer whales.
Yeah, false killer whales were not on my timeline.
What are they?
There's a thing called false killer whales.
False?
False, yeah, like not true.
Why would they be false? They're not real?
I mean, no, they're real.
Killer whales are real. Why do they call it false? Not because they lie to you? What's going on?
They might look like them, but be a different.
Oh, I understand.
Fish.
Yeah, whales will kill you.
I'm just guessing, though.
Whales will definitely kill you. They will kill you. There's no doubt about it.
What's a narwhal? I've heard people talking about a narwhal.
Oh yeah, the narwhal wasn't on my timeline.
No way. No.
Well, that's because there was an ice pole, an ice cap, and they had nowhere to live then. But now they do. These were not on my original timeline. No way.
Not at all. Right. But now there's a cartoon about it. Another cartoon about it.
Wait, so you're telling me they have this like drill-like nose? It looks like a drill, is what or a unicorn nose.
Okay, Brian, I can't believe you're just talking about this now. Okay. When I brought up narwhals to the kids started singing the narwhal song from when they were little.
And that's Twilight Zone-esque.
Yes, it is. Right. So I immediately rewrote my will. I drew them out of the will. And then I got the good kids and I got the bad. I'm just kidding, of course. I'm kidding. But they started singing the narwhal song, and they think I'm absolutely loony, and I'm telling them there's no way. So there's people that share our memories, and there are people that don't. Of kids that are affected and kids that aren't affected. Right.
Gosh. Well, maybe I'll carry around one of these guys next time I go lay some landline in a wall or something.
Oh, are they friendly? Well, of course they're not. They're not friendly. They're not friendly. No, they're not friendly. No.
They only got a sword on their head, you know.
And they're always pointing at me. I don't like that. But the point is that they weren't on my timeline at all. They just weren't. They weren't. You know?
Sunfish, I believe, on Finding Nemo, or was it Finding Dory, I think. It was in there. Yeah, these are... You see the size of the sunfish?
That thing's crazy, man.
That's crazy.
How about the giant jellyfish too, man? No way.
Oh, yeah, right. That happens. Yeah. Hey, it's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to go ahead and start taking some calls? I can start managing that if you want.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Hear from our audience. I know we've been sort of neglecting them a little bit. Hey, Meegsy. Hey, I didn't even know you were here.
Yep. Hey, Meegs, how are you?
Hey, if you guys want to call in, the number is 808-427-2717, 808-427-2717. I will be screening the calls. So, yeah, go ahead and call on in, and we'll bring you in.
Screening the calls, the first question will be, what are narwhals?
Exactly. No, don't have to give us the password to Scarab's show.
Meegs, are you there?
Right.
It's after hours, baby.
Meegs, are you with us?
She might be setting up her mic or something.
Yeah, sure.
So probably while we're waiting for her to catch up and get on, I wanted to ask you guys about the Jackson 5 because now apparently there's a sixth member.
Boy, I tell you, that one guy, Portal, was it? What is it? What is his name? Something Portal.
Hey guys.
Oh, hi, Meegsy.
Hey.
Hi, Meegs. How are you?
Hi.
We're good. Sorry to mean to interrupt.
I'm kind of full on Christmas cookies. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hold on. Let me get this to a correct angle. I'm doing good. What's up with you guys? What's up, Life Matrix? What's up, Unirock?
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. I'm just making last-minute Christmas presents.
Hey, what part of town are you in? What part of the country?
I'm in St. Louis.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. I heard you guys talking about it earlier.
Yes, I talked about it. Yes, you're one of the few people that we know from St. Louis.
It's a pretty cool place.
The arch.
It ain't too bad. I don't know any Mandela effects that have happened in St. Louis yet, though.
Nothing weird like a new UPS store.
No. Wait, didn't you see the arch is rainbow now?
It's a rainbow arch.
No.
Rainbow.
What?
Right.
Really?
Wait, what rainbow arch?
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It's the rainbow arch.
Like, I mean, hopefully I don't wake up one day and the arch is like upside down, inverted. People are like, oh, it's always been like that, dummy.
It's always been like that. It's always been like that.
What's wrong with you? Guys, look what I found today. I just found this actually. I'm staying at this person's Airbnb and it's really cool. But I found this 1985 National Geographic. I don't know if you can see it, but I just thought it was weird that there's can you see this shoe bill in there?
That's so crazy. The shoe bill.
It's
that thing.
If
anything's cartoon, man, that thing is super cartoon.
Right.
It's so weird. It's like to open, like I'm just perusing through magazines and stuff, and just to like
the
open
shoe bill.
and
The
just
shoe
to
bill
see that,
is
it's always
bird, but it's always been here.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just like I hate
I'm
caught off guard with this.
I'm
stuff.
just about ready to change the name of this phenomenon to the cartoon effect.
Yeah, it's like we're all living in Alice in Wonderland. I mean, it's just frustrating because it's everything is meant to gaslight you. You know what I mean? Like, why is this brand new bird popping up like in an old, like in a really
well?
Old...
Hey, be thankful, Meegs, that be thankful you're seeing the ensigns.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I still can't figure out like what
the ensigns.
Like, what makes
the
us
ensigns?
special?
What's the ensigns? I've never heard ensigns.
Ensigns.
Oh my gosh, I felt so dorky. I was like, oh, it sounds like end signs. But really, though,
that's what I would have said too.
You never know what like little clever thing is like coded into the changes. You know what I mean? Like
which is like, how are Christians trust in the Bible? Let's talk about this. How can Christians now trust the Bible at this stage?
You know what? That's such an interesting question. Like, because for me, right away, it was like a knee-jerk response for me to be like, oh, this is huge. Like this particular Bible is being attacked. This particular like theological, like religious text is being attacked, and it must be for a reason. And lo and behold, there is a prophecy about the Bible sort of like being taken away. But I guess you could read it, and I still read it that way. Like I still think that's what the effect is, and it actually centers around the Bible changes like as the core, because there's so many of them, and in like profound, crazy ways, But I guess you could take it as the other complete opposite way and say like the Bible's changing and it's becoming a joke, therefore it should be clear that God is a joke and God always was a joke or something. I know that's how certain people are reading it, and so I get it that you would read it that way, that anybody would, but for me it's still way too specific of a voice coming through. We have every religion that has secret satanic cults underground coming through scripture with their particular terms and like imagery almost. Like, so you have Freemasonic terms, Mormon terms, like Catholic terms, British royalty terms. It's so weird, guys. I mean, for me, it's clear that it's like a satanic voice. But I know people interpret it differently.
There's one thing that I wanted to ask you, Meegs, and it's been bothering me the past couple of days about the wolf. I thought it was the lion to lay down with the lamb, The bear shall eat grass like an ox, and the little child shall play on the hole of the asp, and nothing shall destroy in all my holy mountain. Right?
Yeah. Now it says the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't remember the also being there, and it's been bugging me for the past couple of days. Do you remember also being there, or was it? Because I thought it was just straight up the wolf shall dwell with the lamb.
No, I remember that always being what the change was. The wolf also shall.
That it was also shall.
Yeah, that's because I remembered how weird also was in there.
Yeah, it's just weird.
But it may not have been that way like at first, but I remember that it's been that way for like months and months now. But yeah, what a weird. I mean, and the Lord's Prayer just keeps changing too. It's just like, man, I'm still just flabbergasted.
I did a video on that.
Limbo. We're like in limbo, waiting for a massive amount of people to wake up, but it's like they're never gonna wake up. You know, how many years do we have to wait till this hits critical mass in the world?
Did you see that the Pope actually changed the Lord's Prayer? Like he put in a little like thing to change one of the words at the end of it last week.
Did he actually change it, or did he bring it up as a possible change?
No. I mean, he made an announcement. I'm going to change the Lord's Prayer at the end, and you can type it in. It'll tell you right where he changed it. He changed the last line because it said that something about God leads us into temptation is how he perceived the Lord's Prayer. So he wanted to change it to where, you know, the devil leads us into temptation, and it's not God or something like that. I might be misquoting it, but
yeah, I remember something like that. Go ahead. Who was next? Who's trying to?
What I want to know, Life Matrix, how do you take the Bible changes? I'm curious, like a non-Christian's perspective on it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If you're still with us. Hello.
He disconnected for a second earlier. He might be.
Did we lose him inside the Matrix? Did he get pulled inside the internet like Freakazoid?
The Google Hangout Matrix.
The Google Hangout Matrix.
Yo, guys.
Which is real, apparently.
I had this really great intro prepared for the show. I spent 2 hours after work preparing it. And my computer, it seems whenever I try to get the message out, the thing crashed. My computer, it did the gray screen of death on Apple. It did it to me.
Oh, no.
I lost it.
You might be getting on their bad side for talking about the Mandela Effect so much, Brian. They might be at the like switchboard just hitting extra slow, or crash on your for your computer. It goes down the pipeline and like a demon comes out in your computer.
It's like a whammy.
How about the monkey with the monkey wrench? Did you ever get that on YouTube?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I think Richie from Boston did a video about that. I couldn't believe YouTube of all services should always be up and running, but it went down for like an hour.
What are we gonna do when it goes down full time, guys? Who are we gonna talk to?
I'm gonna read a lot. We're gonna end up reading a lot.
We need a backup plan. We need a better solution.
There are other channels besides YouTube, of course.
I guess there's like Periscope and what else? I just don't. I've never even tried to use either one of those, but I guess I don't know.
Here's my glasses, guys.
Oh, nice.
Glasses.
You're smarter.
Nice, Ty.
Smarter, but they actually make me dumber. That's what happens. They're the dumbing down glasses.
Dumbing down glasses?
Oh. Any question, and I will answer it wrong. Go ahead.
What's the square root of 97?
Ask Brian. Brian doesn't know either. No,
something. Hey,
I appreciate that,
Brian. Meegs, did George Washington have a wig? Did he wear a wig?
Yeah, of course he did.
If you look him up now, he doesn't wear a wig, or didn't back then.
No way.
Never wore a wig.
What? They can't take his wig away. That's like one of his most famous. Did he have wooden teeth too?
I thought so, but apparently he didn't.
Powdery wig and wooden teeth. And I just showed my coworker the other night. I was like, we were talking about Freemasons and stuff. I was like, I bet you haven't seen a picture of George Washington like this. And I showed him a picture of George Washington like in like full Freemasonic regalia, just like gussied up with the apron and like, you know,
a lot of people. Meegs, I got to tell you, a lot of people place so much emphasis on the Freemasons, and you know what? It just seems they don't get along as well as they used to now that they started charging.
Well,
wow. Somebody said they got a blue screen of death too. What?
Yeah, right.
Said he got a blue screen of death yesterday while uploading a video. Wow.
Oh.
It's the charge masons.
They even took down the YouTube editor, like video editor tool that I used forever. And like, why would they just take it away? Why would they take that editing tool away? You know, like
I've heard a lot of complaints, and I don't know why.
Well, they still have an editing tool, but they hid it. I found it the other day.
No, I know that I wanted to ask you a question.
Huh?
I wanted to ask you a question. As Brian's looking for sponsors, I wanted to ask you a question on that. Since you do have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the sponsors? Because I've heard conflicting things on sponsorship. Of course, material like the ME. Things. What's your opinion of doing videos on the ME and, of course,
and sponsoring? Yeah. What do you think about that?
And sponsors.
Well, I mean, I kind of have it set up weird. Like right now, I'm affiliated through Twitch, Amazon, and I have an option to where like viewers can sponsor me now because I have a gaming channel. So like really it's just once YouTube should let that feature through every channel. Like the fact that they only let it go towards gaming channels is very restrictive because, you know, people that really like your content, they can it's like $4.99 a month and they get all kinds of perks like towards like chat emojis and all this other stuff. So you know, it's really restrictive. I don't know if YouTube will ever do it. I haven't heard, but it would be really cool of them because everybody deserves to have it. Even my main channel doesn't have that option, though. It's just my gaming channel, so it's really strange.
Okay. We wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's, of course,
hey, you guys, I disappeared because we had a caller and it was echoing, so I couldn't get the echo thing figured out. But I did let her know that I would go ahead and pose the question, which is,
okay.
So her father is a preacher, and she's brought up the lion and the lamb change to her dad, and he just like, I don't want to talk about it. So her question was, why do you think preachers are refusing to talk about the shifts in the Bible?
Oh, I can answer that. That's real simple.
Yeah.
That's simple, but I'll let anyone else go.
I don't know
I can tell you why.
But yeah, I want to hear. What do you think, Ty?
I want to hear it, Ty. Go ahead.
Well, it's really simple. What it is that the Bible is the Word of God, which it is, and people have relied upon this. And basically, what they do is that this is what the Word of God says. This is what it says. This is what it says. It means what it says. It says what it means. If it changes, it no longer means what it says. It says what it means, and so everything comes down to you or I, and that takes away the power from the preachers, from the pastors, from the particular, whether it's Baptist, Methodist, Lutheran. It takes away their power, and it goes right into opinion. So no, they're not going to talk about it.
You know what's really strange to me is that, you know, if you dedicate your life to preaching the Word of God and out of the Christian Bible, don't you have to think and to be of the mindset that we're living in a supernatural world where God can perform miracles, right? People can be miraculously healed. Mountains
right?
Be moved. Why can't they have it in their brains just like an inch for something supernatural to be happening to words on a page too, but they can't. It's like they cannot even fathom. They cannot even begin to understand what you're saying about it. You know?
Well, if you have a congregation, say like the Lutherans or the Methodists or the Catholics or the Episcopalians or the Greek Orthodox, it doesn't matter which one it is, and you come in under the auspices of, let's say, if one church teaches that there's no homosexuality, or just the same one church teaches that there's no abortion. Let's just say the religion. Those are the tenets. Preacher, you go against that, then you become excommunicated by the church. You're shown the door. That's it. You cannot preach against their message, against what the church do that. That's why you have different splinter groups in religions. Right. People that. But as far as the Mandela effect, I don't think that enough people see it. Right. I don't think enough people see it. I mean, even within a congregation, say if you got a congregation of 300, you may have 5.
Yeah.
The thing is that they don't have to agree among themselves, which of course, being even more freaked out because they don't agree.
Well, what's crazy?
You see what I mean? So
I've heard. I should have recorded it, but there was a sermon given by our pastor, and he said, "When 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst."
Yeah, now it's 2 or 3.
Now it's 2 or 3. Like
only
what?
2 or 3. Only 2. Like,
we got 4. We got 4. John, you got to get out of here. John, you got to get out of here.
Pages says that?
That was the sermon.
Yeah.
And
wow.
It was always 2 or more. Whenever 2
I wish
or
I could have recorded it.
I feel like we're in this age where like we can say pretty much anything. Like people are so convinced that like, you know, if they don't believe something, they can just say it's that they don't believe it, and that makes it, you know, like that there's no fact. I think that's damaging a lot of these you know, books.
What you need saying is that there's no authority. There's no authority. It comes down to your opinion, and
the age of
how good of you all are excellent communicators. That's why you have channels. You're great communicators. Your opinion out there. People agree or disagree. I'm sure you have your detractors. But channels because of your opinions, strong opinions.
Meegs, I have to ask you something because you're a Scorpio, and you would know. And how many legs and arms do you remember scorpions having?
Oh my gosh, was it 6? 6?
What?
6?
Wait, 6 legs?
Oh no! Wait. Maybe 4 legs and 2 arms, right? I don't know. Maybe not.
No, it's.
I was never into astrology too much, so forgive me.
Well, I showed some residue from Transformers. If you watch the movie from 2007, the Scorponok has 6 legs and 2 pincers, if you will.
Oh.
And I remember.
How scary is it that Brian knows the term Scorponok? I was a little bit scared myself. Where's you? You're like, whoa, Scorponok.
That's a weird.
I love the Scorponok.
Weird name. I was watching like some Zorak the other day.
Oh, I love that show. That dude is so funny.
I was listening to clips of like Brack and Zorak.
Brack, he's so funny.
Is that the Cartoon Network guy? Is that what
yeah.
It's
so funny.
At all.
Whatever it is.
Oh, gosh. Sometimes you just have to, you know, reminisce about the like crappy TV shows you watch. Actually, that was not a crappy TV show though. That was really funny. That was a good show.
Oh, nobody's foolish enough to argue with you, Meegs. Whatever you say.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not a Scorpion expert. Sorry about that.
You're okay. I just Teresa told me to ask you because she remembered 6 legs and 2 arms as well. You know.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know. I just figured maybe you would know, but
The thing that really got me, to answer your question again about that Bible thing, was that, remember we were talking about the retrocausality?
Yeah.
Technology that was backwards, technology that came right away. I didn't have the words for it. I couldn't explain it, but it seemed that when I was talking to people that should have known the Bible, there's known. So they were, then I asked them about Bible verses that I thought that had changed. These fellas, believe me, did they think that the verse was correct, but they had a history of the verse behind them, which I thought was very strange, which of course today would be equal to what is known as retrocausality. They have a history of the verse being that way. So
right.
Just to answer your question a little bit.
It's the most frustrating thing in the entire world. I was like with my dad the other night, and he doesn't see the changes, but he's super Christian, like super Christian. And he
what, like a big C on his chest, super Christian? I don't know, super Christian.
He even has a uniform, like a superhero uniform. Anyway, we were like just talking, and he mentions that he doesn't know why there's Easter in the Bible instead of Passover. And he's like, I always thought that was weird. I was like, no, that's a change. Like, Easter was never in the Bible before. Why would it be? Right. In the King James Version, it was always like Passover.
No, it was always actually that particular verse wasn't changed. That particular verse was always Easter, because Easter is not about Easter bunnies and eggs. What's known Ishtar, which actually that's where the eggs came from. That's why the Easter bunny doesn't make any sense, but only because that's one of the big questions. That's one of the big questions from people.
Are you sure that there's so many people that think that's a change? I wish I could see the time.
Ironically, those are the people, because they've never been there. Ironically, those are the people who never read their Bible, didn't really read their Bible. That doesn't make sense. And the fact is that for, I don't know, 20 years that I've known about it, it's one of the things that people, as a Mandela effect, they used it as, this is a mistake in the Bible. You're talking about in the book of Acts where it says Easter, okay? Mm-hmm. That is actually the way, and it wasn't that it was, they said that it was a mistake. It would use that as the authority of the Bible is wrong because it has Easter. To argue against it and say no, it shouldn't be passed over. Easter is the correct, because it's actually a pagan holiday, which of course it is, and they were referring to Ishtar, and so there you go. But I understand what you're saying. It's very, very common that people think that is actually not in the Bible, but it was. But then again, how many people believe me?
I know. SK Mink says Easter is pagan. Why would Easter be there? No,
because it was referring to a pagan holiday in the Bible. That's why. Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm just saying I was on the fence about that one. I'm not sure. I don't remember if Easter was or wasn't, but I mean, it just sounds weird.
And then there's Bunny. EYA did a video about like Bunny, BUNNI, like, and son of Bunny. Like, you gotta search that on her channel. It's so funny. She just has a great sense of humor sometimes. Like, son of Bunny. I think she talks about Easter in that video too, so y'all check it out. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, the thing is, there are certain pastors that have gone on video talking to their congregations about the Bible changes, but you can count them on your hand. You can count them on one hand. There's so few.
Unfortunately, the ones that I've seen be absolutely bad, crazy. You know, they were not to begin with.
Well, Bill Bean is actually really good. He did a debate about the Mandela Effect Bible changes. He like has a following too, and he's a pretty awesome man of God. He's, like, he's spirit filled and everything, kosher, but like I can't believe that more people, when you hear him talk about it, he makes so much sense. He's like, why would Jesus ride into town on a colt and a horse, like, and a donkey. Like, it was like he talks about all this stuff, like, you know, obviously it wasn't like this. And then he debates against other Christians that are like, no, it was always like that. And it's just so, it's just like the definition of confusion and chaos, you know? And then meanwhile, like, Lucifer, whoever's behind this, I think it's Lucifer / Satan, whatever you want to call him. I think he's just like rubbing his hands, like having a big laugh at all of us Christians, like fighting each other over this. I mean,
no, I don't. I understand what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is, the only way that I can think about it without going crazy is that God's in control, and the reason why this is happening.
Yeah.
The reason why this is happening.
Given. But yeah, it's just funny.
I believe he's doing it. Now get this. This is think follow me on this, Meegs, because obviously we love you to death, okay?
Yeah.
That God's in control and he's changing these things for whatever purpose. Now, what drives you crazy is that people see the Bible, they look at it, you show them the verse, they read it once, they read it twice, they read it 12 times, you go, well, what does that mean? And they go, I don't know. And you're like, what do you mean you don't know what it means? Read it again. They don't know what it means. And I believe just the same when people look at a verse now for a Mandela effect and they don't see it, I don't think they're meant to see it.
Yeah,
simple enough.
Could be.
Yeah. And I believe it. Like I've told Brian 100 times, I believe the problem with the Mandela effect is not that I see the Mandela effect. Two, it's not the fact that I see the Mandela, it's not the fact that I see the ME, it's the fact that I can't not see the ME. It's always there. Every time I look at the verse, I go, "Oh, come on! How can you not see that?"
It's always at like triggeredness with the Mandela effect is always at like level 11.
Right, exactly.
The day. Like I can't turn it down.
Exactly. You go, "Oh, not again!" And that's what the term you used before was gaslighting, and that's the way it seems so personal. Like, "Oh, come on, I can't win." And then you look for anybody to agree with you, and of course, nobody does. Right. So there's one guy in Sioux Falls. He agrees with me. That's great. At least one person agrees with me. 300 million people in the country, and one person agrees with me.
Right. Right.
The point is that I believe that God's doing it for whatever purpose, for whatever reason, in time. The fact that we see it, I don't know.
But it's something that, I mean, has led me to keep doing videos. I feel like the Mandela effect is not going to stop anytime soon. It's going to keep picking up and gaining force.
Absolutely. Could you imagine if it just stopped? You know? And then we just had all the changes and nothing ever happened ever again. Like, how weird would that be? No, it's going to keep getting worse and crazier and crazier and crazier. So I hope y'all stick around until YouTube kicks our butts off. I hope that never happens.
Oh, I'm in for the long run. Are you? You're in for the long run too, Meegs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. Well, people need to, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, you know, I can't even put this into words. Like, I'm just like a service industry worker and stuff, and like made like straight B's through school. How come like I'm one of the only people that notice these changes in the Bible in particular, like the language of the Bible, like how, and you know, regardless of any of the other effects, like how are we the only ones that care? I didn't get like any like crazy degrees or anything. Like, how am I the only one that sees the English crumbling in the Bible? Or the only one that cares? Like, what? Where is everyone? Where are all the English?
Denial. They're living in denial right now.
It's just crazy.
Well, or they don't see it. They just don't see it, and that's the point. They don't see it. You show it right to them. They don't see it. You're like, what? This is wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just a big letdown that more English professors, like people with English degrees, people that love English, writers, famous writers. I mean, could you imagine how amazing it would be to hear, you know, like some famous, like lauded writer, like come out and talk and analyze the Bible changes, like Noam Chomsky or whatever. Like, what does he have to say about the Bible changes? Like, I want to know what everyone thinks, but why did like so many people not care? But I guess somebody commented on one of my videos that they were saying like, settle down, like people don't care. The fact that people don't care is in accordance with the Bible prophecy you're speaking of. Like, there's the prophecy saying God is taking the word away because people don't care. And it's like you're going to see a lot of people not caring with this effect.
I think they're just taking the easy route, the path of resistance. I think,
Right. Anyway, I just keep going through my day, like hoping more people will just.
Oh my God! Did I come up as Sue?
Life
Matrix on the screen is Sue.
Life Matrix, are you there, brother?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm here. I've actually been trying to work out. There's a trick with Hangouts to be able to take calls, and I'm still not sure how it works. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it. So go ahead, man. What you got?
Okay, I had one of your.
Wait, sorry. Go ahead, Brian. I didn't mean to. I still want to know what Life thinks about the Bible changes later.
Well, I mean, it's simple. I mean, I just first off, what the preachers, why the preachers don't talk about it, I'll say, well, a simple one word answer, and that is spooked.
Yeah,
I think they're spooked. And then as what I think about the Bible changes is, there's a code in it. I believe there's some type of code in it, and obviously not all of them are changes for everybody, because now we're finding out Easter. It still doesn't seem right that Easter is in there for me, but maybe in the context it's being used, maybe that does make sense. I don't know. But I was never a Bible person, admittedly. But I do think that there must be some kind of code in it. I mean, there's some kind of an intelligence behind all these changes. So what is it trying to teach us? What is it trying to show us? What's the code?
I've been trying to crack it. Josh Speed has been working on it too, very, very hard, trying to work and see if there's a code. Some people think there is no code or pattern, but one thing that I do see is strong among the logos is the fact that there's sixes and upside down, there's Ra and sixes. I don't know what to think. Okay, we got him back. There's I had an experience, Life Matrix. This is what I was going to tell you a second ago. I had an experience like you had where you're going along a road, highway, and you see something change before your eyes. I had that experience. I freaked out the other day when I found out there was another UPS store. And I've been like Googling the maps and everything like that. There was only one UPS store and one post office where you can actually mail it out. And then I come to find out, because my job sent me there, that there's a new UPS store. It's been there for 10 years. How is that possible?
Wow.
Right. Yeah, it's a real phenomenon. I haven't been seeing it as much lately, but yeah, that is a real thing. I have never seen it right before my eyes, but it's like from one time that I've been somewhere to the next time I've been somewhere, maybe within a week, I would notice these types of things. The most recent one for me was there were never cruise ships, big, large passenger cruise ships in San Diego. So that was my latest WTF on my timeline. And there's many other people that back this up. And yet there's all these other people, including some people in my community. They're like, oh, there's always been cruise ships. I went to Mexico. I went to Hawaii. I went to Canada. I went to Washington State, whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's a trip, because never, ever.
In the Bay?
Go ahead.
In the Bay you're talking about?
Oh, yeah. No, San Diego Bay. Yeah, correct.
No way. No.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not my memory. Not my memory.
Yeah. Over 30 years, This has been going on. The passenger cruise ship business is been going on.
No.
Let me repeat the story again. So I'm with my girlfriend. We just had a nice, vegetarian dinner at Gratitude Cafe downtown San Diego, one of our favorite places to eat. And, I'm like, I was going over in the area to research the Bob Hope Memorial, which I had never known about or seen. It's kind of hidden away over by the kissing statue by the USS Midway. And so I'm over there investigating that. And I got done there. And then I go down Broadway, not down Broadway. I go down the main stretch there. I forget the name of it, but approaching Broadway. And all of a sudden I see this huge, large passenger cruise ship. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, WTF. And immediately, of course, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is the phenomenon, but I'm going to keep my cool. And I'm just gonna ask somebody. Maybe they had to pull into port for some reason.
Right.
And come to find out, I talked to the security guard who alerted me to the boardwalk. He says, "You got to be careful. There's a boardwalk right here." And I pulled into an area that I was unfamiliar with. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was I knew there was kind of a boardwalk, but not like there is now. So that was also kind of a shift. And so he was like, yeah, be careful. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I asked him, how long have cruise ships been here? What's the deal with this cruise ship? Oh, no, there's been cruise ships here for, 30 years. I'm like, really? And And I, with my girlfriend, I have to be really, cautious about what I talk about because
I want to ask you a question. Is it like a Carnival cruise ship that you saw?
Oh yes, sir.
No way. No, you can't miss those. No way was that there because those things, guys, those things are so out of place. They look like buildings in the middle of the water. Buildings. Yeah, they're so big. They're huge.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right, you can't miss them. Right, but there are people in my area that have experienced these here, and they have taken them out of here. And the one that one that came in that night was coming in from, I believe, I actually don't remember. But when I went back, the one was about to head out. The one that was at port when I went back and investigated the second time, that one was headed off to. It was a Royal Caribbean cruise line, whatever it is, and they were headed off to Tahiti. And I'm like,
no
wow.
way. No.
And in fact, brother, I've never even known on my timeline, and I get that other people have been cruising to Hawaii, but I never even knew you could cruise to Hawaii from any port on my timeline. You always had to fly, but now there's always been cruise ships going to Hawaii.
That's weird.
No. Yeah, I've never known about that. The only time I knew about cruise ships was going around to the Caribbean, Jamaica, things like that. Never over there. They would stay away from what would be the Pacific. You know what I mean? You would take a plane over there. You'd stay for some reason. They wouldn't go in the Pacific. They're in the Atlantic. That's where they are. They're down at the Gulf of Mexico. That's where they are. You board them in Florida.
Right. So now these cruise ships out of San Diego can go almost anywhere. On the western coast. I mean, they can go. Apparently Tahiti, Hawaii. They go. There's many cruises going down to Mexico, Cancun. They go up to San Francisco. They go up to Canada. Yes, sir.
Well, you know what this means? This means we got to get a GoFundMe because we need to buy one of these cruise ships so we can just go. Because obviously if you can just get them anywhere, sure. Why don't we just pull them into Pittsburgh? They got rivers there too. We can go right there. If they can go into San Diego, sure, they can go to Pittsburgh. Why not?
And there's many people, military type peeps, that said, they've backed it up several times when I had my videos out there about this. I pull my videos back. I got my reasons, but the bottom line is that I've had military people say there were never, cruise ships in the bay, only military.
Right.
It's small bay, cruise ships that you just take you around the bay. That's what it used to be.
Yeah, my understanding was, and this is not, I'm not pulling from big knowledge, okay, because I'm not a cruise ship buff, but I know that the San Diego, okay, is very military, and they take over the whole place.
That's correct.
That's it. They don't want anything around those ships at all. I don't think anything larger than a fishing boat. Really, they don't want any problems. And to have a cruise ship next to a military ship, it wouldn't happen. Not on my timeline. No way.
The USS Midway, that is a retired ship, and it's a museum now. So that particular area is not really focused on being a military per se. The military section, actually, the whole new military section for me on Coronado Island that wasn't there. It's Navy, actually. And there's another Navy section down the coast around Imperial Beach that wasn't there before for me as well. So they're definitely
right. It's not there. You're absolutely right. Not for me either. No, you're absolutely right.
But so am I complaining that there's cruise ships in San Diego? Not really.
No.
I mean, I'm like, cool, man.
Well, the thing is that you guys, when you understand, when he's explaining it, you're understanding that he's seeing this monstrosity because it's this hulk of a thing.
Mind blowing.
And you can't take your eyes off it. You're like, it's unbelievable.
It's like seeing a ghost.
Yeah, right, exactly. You never see it. Never see it. And it would be hard to miss. And when someone's telling them that, oh, they're always there. No, I remember that. I remember that.
It is so Twilight Zone when that happens to you. So Twilight Zone.
Right, and that's the thing that happens to us all the time in the Mandela effect. That had to be something. You were with your girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, she's like, "Is this what I think it is?" And I'm like, "I think so." You know, but she doesn't want to talk about it. She never wants to talk about it. So, you know, she doesn't know this, but I'm on the Mandela Effect dating site now. I'm looking.
Oh God! Oh God!
Is there a dating site, really?
Yeah, there is.
Affectedlove.com.
Oh,
really?
Do you run it?
Yeah.
Affectedlove.com.
Do you run it, Life Matrix?
No, I'm not going to talk about that.
Right.
No,
There's four
I'm
members and growing. No.
No. I'm joking. I don't know who runs it. I really don't. But they should get a hold of me. Maybe we can cross promote and work out something. I'm really not on there. I'm really not on there. So if she happens to hear this, which she won't, because she hates this stuff. But yeah, I've thought about it.
Can you imagine the promo for the affected.com, the dating site? Have you seen any cruise ships lately? Me too. Come on down.
You want to go on a Mandela affected cruise love with me? Hey, I got
champions.
I got to cut out soon, but I want to share one more thing with you guys, and it's something I talked about with you earlier. So go ahead and present me, and I don't have any idea what this means, this at all. But you know, I've seen this for some time. Many of us have seen this. So, Nelson Mandela's prison number 46664.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, and so I believe this is not coincidence.
No.
You know, it's quite interesting that, you know, we have the mark of the beast dead center between two fours. To me, it's almost as if the fours represent angels and they're containing the energy, the more, you know, not so happy energy. And I'm getting a sense. I mean, the chances of this phenomenon being named after this man and his prison number being 46664.
That's insane. That's a good catch. I never saw that before.
Okay, do you guys, Life Matrix, do you know anything about biblical numerology?
Not too much.
The number 4, according to Bullinger and Bruckman, okay, the number 4 is, and these guys are old. Bruckman and Bullinger are long since dead. Bullinger is 100 years old. 4 in the Bible means the world. That's what it means. 4 in the Bible means the world. So that is ironic. It's just like
perfection or something.
Hitler's military number. Do you know Hitler's military ID number? Does anybody remember what it was? I do.
I don't.
Hitler's military ID card, his number, Hitler's military ID number, because he was a soldier before he became a dictator, his military number was 555.
Weird.
Yeah, so this is what you just saying, Life Matrix, what you're just saying with the 4 and 4, you said angels. It's pretty interesting. It would be the number of the beast within the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so isn't that something?
Guys,
it's just Bible numerology.
You got to listen to did you listen to Fritz Springmeier talk about the Mandela Effect recently?
Me?
Anyone. He brought up the fact that people remembered Nelson Mandela's funeral, and they remembered satanic chant in Latin.
What?
Why? Why?
Yeah, listen to just type in
that would be redundant, wouldn't it? In Latin.
Fritz Springmeier, Mandela Effect. He's like a famous guy. He talks about the Illuminati bloodlines, but he's really well researched and stuff. But that's interesting. I've also heard that Nelson Mandela was either a Freemason or a Jesuit. It wouldn't surprise me.
I want to pick your brain on one more thing, because I know that you are down with Lazlow.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Lazlow speaks very highly of you, by the way.
He does, yeah.
And I've been chatting with him just briefly a couple times because he's very busy. And I saw one of his videos, and I got to tell you, I saw one of his videos on aliens, okay? And I have to say it. I hate to say it to anyone who's listening, but Lazlow, right on with what I've read, and I mean the hours and hours and hours. We're talking hundreds of hours of through the 90s and everything. He had to come across something. I mean, he pulled people that no one knows about. He pulled Bill Cooper. He pulled William Cooper. He pulled out the lines of the alien, the races. He pulled out a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even know where he got that information from, because nobody believes that but me. Nobody does it. Of course, I don't go to parties. I don't talk about this stuff. I'd like to know where he got his information from. Yeah, hey. That's what I do. The Mandela parties. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, where did he get that information? Do you know a little bit about where he gets his research, where he gets his information? Because that's like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 levels deep. That's beyond reptilian stuff with who's the guy, Icky or whatever the guy's name is. That's beyond that stuff. So I wanted to know where he got that information from. Was it somebody? Was it you? Was it someone else? Was it? Because I can't believe that he just pulled up that information.
Which information are you saying?
On aliens.
About, like, specifically what Bill Cooper was saying, or?
No, he had. If it was just Bill Cooper, it'd be like, oh, okay, well, he read Bill Cooper, William Cooper. But he had a number of names, and he had a number of aliens, the races, what they were doing. He had a number of theories set up about the government, about all this stuff set up in such a way that was very easy to understand. And I was just wondering if you know where he got his information, or is it something that he just came across? Is it something that he's held in his belief for a long time? Do you share the same beliefs he does? Did you help him? I'm just picking your brain. That's all. Life Matrix.
As far as aliens are concerned, I just have a feeling, it's just I can't prove it, but I feel like they are interdimensional, and that's all I really know. If they are real, I just believe they're moving in and out of time and space interdimensionally.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty much all I know. I don't think they're coming from some other world or anything at this stage.
Right. Yeah, that's obviously we understand that, but I found it very, very strange where I was looking actually for his latest Mandela Effect videos and trying to, because I wanted to have, he was supposed to be here tonight, but obviously something happened last week. Something happened too, but
he often falls into another dimension to do research, and then he pops back up. He doesn't even realize he's doing it.
I completely understand.
Was he saying the Mandela Effect was from aliens? What was his point bringing up aliens?
It was just a side point that he has. That's what he does. All these people do different videos on different things, and he happened to do aliens, and I caught it, and I was all ready to go, okay, let's hear this guy. And he came out with good stuff. We're talking X-File grade stuff. Very good stuff. I couldn't believe it. He did very well.
Aliens can be cast out in the name of Jesus, by the way. Just so you know. This guy Malone goes around like lecturing in Roswell and any other place that people gather to talk about aliens. He talks about his experiences since childhood with aliens and large praying mantises and stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, they leave in the name of Jesus." The
only reason I brought it up is he brought up a historical aspect of aliens that you don't often see even on YouTube.
Oh,
the historical aspect of it, which were interesting, which I have never heard presented that way in short form. He did it very quickly, which was nice. It was refreshing, to say the least.
That's cool.
So I encourage everyone to look at that video. It's very good. It's a good little video.
There's probably a lesser, before you bounce out, Life Matrix, real quick. Well, first I want to thank you for taking the time to come on here. I know it's been a while since we've seen you, and I want to thank you again.
It was cool to chat.
Yeah, it was nice to chat with you too, Meegs. And I'm sorry, what's TY's name? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost right now.
I'm Ty.
You're just Ty. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or Tyler. Or Tyler.
Okay, right on.
I'm not.
Right.
Thanks, Meegs. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good connecting with you too, Ty. Yeah, yeah.
What's that? Yeah, I'm a white guy named Ty. That's me. That's all. That's all I need to know. White guy named Ty. That's it. That's me.
I bet you know how to tie one on.
Oh God, thanks. Is that the first time I heard that? No, it's not. I can't believe it. You would be the first. No.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's one thing that my girlfriend complains about pretty often is just how corny I am. So yeah.
No, it's quite all right. It's everything's forgiven within the matrix. It's fine. Anyways, I really do appreciate you getting a chance to talk to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
For sure.
Okay. Thank you for coming on, man.
Here, dude.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Happy holidays.
yes, of course.
And
then there were 3.
No,
okay.
there's 4, guys. Look at this freaking cat right now. Can you see this cat? Look how peaceful this cat
What
is.
did you do?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
that's great.
I love cats. Hey.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
This cat has round eyes instead of reptile eyes, by the way.
It's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with me. That is wonderful.
But does she know she's on the air in front of like hundreds of people?
Sure, right.
I think she does.
Right.
She's
okay.
showing off those round peoples.
Okay.
That's great.
Real quick. I know this. You guys may not know Jules Verne, but
1,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
What? Jules Verne. You know.
Yeah. Tell me.
Well.
What about Jules Verne?
Well, Jules Verne. Gosh. See, Jules Verne was a famous writer.
Science fiction, right?
Science fiction, yes.
Leagues Under the Sea. Is that the same guy, Jules Verne? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
20,000 Leagues, that's correct. Ghazi says a Mandela Effect. Jules Verne had written a book called, what is it, Begum's Fortune? And Begum is a Turkish girl name. It was huge because I'm a fan of Jules Verne. So I know that's one of the lesser ones. There's so many Mandela Effects. And
yeah, it's just tough to wrangle them all. I've been trying to like.
I've had to have like 3 cups of coffee
stock in my head, but
stay awake today.
Oh, I just remember Jules Verne. It just makes me think of Back to the Future 3, when like Doc's 2 kids are named Jules and Verne.
Yes, and do you remember one of the boys actually pointing to his?
No,
I don't remember that.
I saw that. That was so weird. He's just like, come here. Like, it's disturbing.
You were not here in the beginning when I posed this question. Have you come across people, Meegs, since you talk to people a lot?
Yeah.
Have you come across people who believe that there was 52 states in the country?
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
Okay.
Just on I guess the original Fiona Broom site. P.S. What happened to Fiona Broom? Like, where did she go? Anyway, I saw on her site there was like a whole thread for the 52 states thing, and people. I think I brought this up before, but it's really strange that multiple people were saying Brunswick was a state and Veracruz was a state. But other than that, like, it's like totally random. I've never heard of those names before, but multiple people were like, "Oh yeah, I remember Brunswick and Veracruz being the like what?" And then most people were saying Guam and Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. What about Cincinnati?
No.
Okay.
No, but I did have a friend in 5th grade who was arguing with my mom. I'll never forget this. She was arguing with my mom that there were 52 states. like when I was younger, and she was like real sure there were 52 states, and
okay, well you are
like,
wait a second, but you are perpetually 29. I know that, but that would mean that you graduated 10 years ago, correct? So what is this? 2017. You would have graduated in 2007, 2006. Let's call it 2005 because you were a smart kid. And in 5th grade, you would have been in 1990. What? 8?
I think I was like 10 or something. I don't know.
1999, and that would be about the Mandela Effect time, Brian. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Correct?
I guess.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. I mean, that's about the Mandela Effect time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. See what I'm trying.
Oh, go ahead.
See, you are from St. Louis. You're born in St. Louis, correct?
That's right.
Are you a stone's throw away from your old neighborhood where you hung out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. I am not. So everything around here is new. I've only lived in this area for maybe 10 years, maybe within this area. Everywhere else, I was several hundred miles away. So when I go home, everything is a Mandela effect because everything is new. That's what happens in 10 years, okay? But when I go to my childhood home, which has been 20 years, well, a lot has changed. Such that I don't see a lot of Mandela effects personally unless they're happening now, like a new sign, a new thing, something's happening. Because I'm not living in the place that I grew up in. I mean, Brian and I have talked about this before. Or you have, so you definitely freak out because you see an old school, an old building that hasn't been there, or an old restaurant that was there that is not there now. I'm sure you've seen this, correct?
No, I've never seen any buildings changing, but maybe I'm not like having my antenna up all the time when I should be.
I saw some people on YouTube that actually in California. There's believe it or not, in California, the guy said there's a hotel now in California, an entire building that was never there. He goes, I go to work every day. I turn the corner. There's now a building. But over the weekend, but it's always been there. He said it's always been there. So it's crazier things have happened. But real
I feel like that's happened to everyone else except me. I just keep waiting for a building to appear, or like a whole the neighborhood or something. Like that would be pretty cool. But no.
Well, I've had. How are your relations with your family? Talking about the Mandela effect, have you gotten positive responses from your family?
Extremely hostile responses, guys, to the point where I just don't I want to bring it up so bad, but they're gonna like get their daggers out next time I do. Like I'm not even joking.
No way.
I mean, I am joking, but like it's that bad. It's like I mean, I don't know. Like one of my family members was like, I don't know if I want you around my children anymore.
Okay, now let me ask you this: what are you the middle child or are you the youngest child?
I'm the youngest.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, no kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, you act very much like the youngest child, and it's very, you're taking this very, very hard. I'm sure because you're the youngest child, very hard, and that is why they're reacting to you.
It's hard. You have to live up to their expectations.
Yeah, I was always the baby.
Oh, no, that's not the youngest child. You're the baby. They love you, and if you do something different, they would go crazy. They're going to go crazy.
Yeah.
But when did you become awake next?
Last August, I think. June, July. Yeah, June, July.
Okay, and I'm just checking on something. I don't mean to pick your brain.
No. I mean, 2016, June, July.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What do you remember about the Lindbergh baby?
Well, I remember that he was never found. And whenever I mention it around family members, they just don't. At first they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess he was never found," and then I'm like, "Oh well, he was found," and then they're like, "Oh yeah."
To you, the Lindbergh baby was a national thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about the Lindbergh baby, and now nobody does.
Right, right, and nobody cares. It's
right, and nobody cares.
It's just
right.
funny. Like I saw not Scott Harrison. Who's the Mandela Effect guy? Scott Robinson? Steve Robinson? Steve Robinson.
Scott Harrison or
Steve Robinson. He has like a Liverpudlian accent. He has a really cool accent. Anyway, he just
I think it might be Scott Harrison. He's cool.
Scott Harrison. Anyway, but he was saying how people are just like robotic and apathetic these days, and he doesn't know if it's like a Mandela effect or not, the different behaviors in people, but like I think people are distinctly more apathetic. Like they don't care that they don't know major things. You
well,
know?
that would be apathy. That would be, I used to say, Megs, you're going to love it. I used to say, I think that apathy is a big problem in the world today, but nobody cares. That's what he used to say. But I believe this is a new paradox, as I was trying to tell Brian, that we love it. We think it's called what's known as what, Brian? The Mr. Smith paradox, where people turn into like little Mr. Smiths, and because their reactions are completely wrong. So basically, with the Mandela effect, Megs, you're going, oh my God, you know what? That building is on fire. It's literally on fire. It's burning down as we speak. And your friend goes, well, that's good. I'm getting a text right now, so can you hold on? No, the building's on fire. Hold on, I gotta take this call. Hold on.
Right.
That's their reaction. That is their reaction. Everything's on fire. Everything is literally burning right now. People are dying. Do you understand?
Dude,
because I got a text.
I don't think enough can be said about the mysterious, horrifyingly like non sequitur reactions in people with the Mandela effect. That is the most Twilight Zone out of any.
The Mr. Smith, it's the Mr. You know Mr. Do you know Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith from the Matrix.
Yes.
Paradox.
He was also in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Right. So it's got to be Mr. Smith paradox, where people become Mr. Smiths.
Right. But you know what I think it is?
What it sounds like.
I think honestly, if you look at for any length of time at the nanotechnology industry / Morgellons, nanobots, you got to know that they're there, they exist, they're being weaponized against us. They have to be working on our neurons, but not ours, but other people's. You know what I mean? Like that has to be what it is, don't you think? I mean, why would they go to all this trouble making all this crazy, complicated nanotechnology that looks like spiders and praying mantises coming out of people if they're not doing anything, if they're just hanging out on people, you know? They're breaking the blood-brain barrier, like Elon Musk's neural net, you know? That's like an injectable net that goes around, breaks through the blood-brain barrier, goes onto your brain, physically goes. I mean, if they already are doing that, I completely can't imagine that that's how people are getting the crazy normal reactions and the updates.
I will say something about that, because I just had an interesting thought. The thought that I have, because you are very conspiratorial, which is nice.
No, I
because
just
you have some interesting thoughts.
But yeah, I am.
But along with human nature, it's like I have a superpower. What's my superpower? Well, give me anything and I'll screw it up. I screw up everything. Watch this. Right? So I will mess up anything. That's my superpower. It's a joke, but the idea is that mankind finds a way to pervert every little thing it touches. Every little thing it touches. So, oh look, I can take pictures. Oh, let's get naked. Let's take pictures. What? What's going on? What do you mean? Well, wait a second. I thought we were going to use this for good. I thought we were going to use this for we created TV. We can turn this into a great learning tool, or we can make sitcoms. Okay, let's make sitcoms instead of a learning. That's what happened. We pervert everything. Technology.
Right.
Where's the perversion in it? I have to see the perversion in it. Where it's not there yet. Where I see, you know what? I see this great. Oh, look, it's silicon skin. Oh, this is great. What can we do with this? Can we make artificial limbs for people that need them for more? No. We can make sex robots. Oh yeah, sex robots. We can pervert it. They immediately pervert it, and amazingly, that's where our money goes. You see what I mean? That's where it goes. So obviously, where's the web traffic? Obviously, the National Geographic and the News Cycle and the Learning Channel obviously they get the most on YouTube. No. Pornography gets the most views. Why is that? Because we pervert everything, and because we pervert everything, that's why that when you say nanotechnology, I need to see the perversion behind it. Where are they perverting it? Perversion, then I'd be more apt to go that route.
There's an extremely good interview that I would say is integral to watch if you're in the truther community or Mandela Effect community or just any kind of community, really, because it's happening to all of us just more intensely.
So send me the link. I'm your friend. Am I not? Send me a link and I'll definitely look at it.
But for everyone who's watching, it's the interview that Sophia Smallstorm does with a woman named Elizabeth who wishes to kind of remain anonymous. But she is the most profound case. She has the most profound case of Morgellons that I've ever heard. She is not only is it like manifesting in sores all over her body, like and
Morgellons disease is where you have these 100-pound sores, correct? That's what Morgellons disease is, is it not?
Not like sabers, sores, like open, but
yeah, like you get big sores all over you. That's what it is.
It's like leprosy.
Isn't it like?
But
like it's like if I'm remembering it correctly, it's like stone. It's heavy. It's hard. You can't. There's no cure.
Well, there is. Some people think there's some kinds of cures like tea tree oil, oregano, baking soda, that kind of stuff. There's a protocol.
Or let me guess, cannabis. Cannabis, right? Of course,
maybe.
Cannabis.
That cures a lot more than people
cannabis
think.
And peanut butter supposedly is.
Oh, don't eat peanut butter.
Go
cancer. But anyway, so this woman is actually growing like insects. Nanobot insects are hatching out of wounds in her body, like cavernous wounds. This is real, guys. Like, it sounds totally sci-fi. Look up this interview because this is the woman she's interviewing sounds like a mom. She sounds like a nurse. Like, she's professional and she's just. All right,
send me a link. Send me a link. I'll definitely look at it.
I will. It's Sophia Smallstorm interviewing Elizabeth with Morgellons. I played it at work. People at work were like, "What is this? Like, what? Where did you find this?" Because she's talking about praying mantis forms hatching out of her body. I mean, it's that crazy. That's what this is doing to us.
Wait, hold on. Does this remind you of something, guys?
What'd you say?
What Meegs is saying?
Oh my gosh! Belly buttons.
This is it. This is my typical day. This is my typical day at work. This is what happens to me at work. This is Monday.
Oh my gosh!
This is what I go through.
So
this is what I go through. I go through this all the time. I don't know. You know what I mean? This is a typical. Yeah, right. This is me.
So maybe that's how the Matrix has people. Maybe they're bugged. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. But it was like,
I can't watch it. I can't watch it.
That's just That's it.
Yeah.
Knock Neo. Knock Neo. Yeah, gotcha.
What if Keanu Reeves is behind the Mandela Effect? What if he is the Matrix? What if he's behind the Matrix? What if he's doing that?
Neo. He's the one.
No one would expect him.
He is the one.
Because he's Neo. He like represents.
I would expect him to be an A-list actor, not a B-list actor. You know what I mean? He plays the same guy in every movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's the same guy in every movie. He's like Bruce Willis. He's like the Bruce Willis of the 2000s. He's the same guy.
Meegs, what did you think about that video I did on the Illuminati?
On the Taco Bell commercial?
Yeah.
Dude, that is just crazy that they're I mean, really, it's incredible that they think that they can get away with it, you know, but they can. Nobody's awake. Like 0.01% people are awake and even would understand any part of that. Like, we obviously get it. Like, we know they're just putting it in our faces and laughing at us, like the Fruit Loops commercials and crap. And the Febreze commercials, like.
I wanted to show some.
I don't think people are. You know what, Brian? I'm thinking people don't take me seriously enough. So what I'm going to do now on is I'm going to be this close, just like Megs. Like, oh my God, what is going on? Oh my God, can you believe what's going on? It's all good too. Whatever it is, I'll be reading the paper and be like, "Oh my God, can you believe?"
Just be perpetually triggered forever.
Hang on, you have to see this. Hold
on. Belluminati.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. They have it right there in their logo, and it's been hidden this entire time.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, look at that! That is great. That is great. Goodness. That's a good catch. Did you do that by yourself, or did you get it from somebody?
No, I heard it from somebody.
That's cool. That's very cool.
But I did a video on it. Like
I don't think I've ever been to Taco Bell ever.
Good. Yeah. That's maybe why you see the Mandela Effect.
Oh, that's it.
A contributing reason.
That is why you see the Mandela Effect, because you don't come to Taco Bell.
That's very obvious. That's plain for the eye to see. Been hidden.
I've never seen it. How plain is that? Probably because I don't go to Taco Bell.
I love that you put so much relevant stuff out, Brian. Like I can always count on your channel to be like super interesting and like chock full of super interesting stuff that goes along with the Mandela Effect. Like I always put it on at work.
Brian and Meegs, you two, Life Matrix, Brian puts in an inordinate amount of work on all these videos, and you guys, among other people, about what you do. You care very deeply about what you do. You guys are very passionate about what you do, and you care about people. You very much care about people. I mean, I do joke because I try to keep it light. Obviously, I joke around because if not, we'd be so serious all the time, we'd go crazy. Oh, yeah. Brian is such a caring individual. Meegs, you guys I hope people understand how much work goes into it. It's not just all fun and games. It's not.
That's a full-time job. I mean, even when you're not, like, at work, I'm still trying to proselytize to people, customers all the time. I, like, bring it up. And, like, I'll just anything, any reason. Sometimes there's no reason to bring it up, but I just bring it up. I'm always playing Brian's channel or, like, any Mandela Effect channel at work. I'm always playing it. People are coming around. My coworkers are coming around, and they just have dealt with it so much that like now they have no choice but to believe it. So that's good.
Well, that's good. And Meegs, I don't know if you're aware, but we talked about it earlier. Wait, hold on, Ty. Hold that thought a minute.
Go ahead.
Okay, they're coming out with an X-Files episode. It was pointed out to me by Teresa, and it was mentioned to me by someone. I forget the name. I'm sorry. It's late, but
is it a new X-Files episode? Like
X-Files next month?
Yes, it is a new one. It's a new one.
It'll be a new episode on the Mandela Effect.
Oh my God!
Yeah, her name's Dana. Sorry. But yeah, and that's in lieu of the 2018 movie. So I wonder how many people the movie is it going to wake up, or are people going to treat it as conspiracy/science fiction? Because you know what the movie's about, right? You know the plot. You know the plot of it.
The movie, the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly. I researched all the actors and stuff, and I saw that they weren't researching us. They didn't seem to care about us.
Well, what's interesting is that David Guy Levy, he is in the Reality Shift Phenomenon Facebook group. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I hope and he wants to do an interview with me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it.
Maybe you should.
I'm gonna do it, and
that's cool, Brian.
Pamela Lynn, she got me hooked up with him. So yeah, he just got married a couple months ago, I think. So he's been busy that and then finishing up the movie.
Wow. But you know what? It's like, why would he do a movie on it and like be completely absent from the Mandela Effect community until now? Like, that's suspicious, but I'm glad you're doing an interview with him. I mean, I'm sure he's busy, but like if you're busy making a movie on the Mandela Effect, you gotta be like part of the community, like somewhat. I never
absolutely not be aloof.
Right. Anyway, it's interesting. I'll be tuning in to that interview for sure.
All right, and maybe
the interview with who?
With some questions to ask. You know,
are you going to make us look like crazy fools, Mr. Levy? Are you going to make us look like how Vice made targeted individuals look? Just like anyway.
I don't know. The future is probably the scariest thing, I think, is our imagination of the future, what it could be.
Right.
And especially how it's depicted in the Revelation in the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just go about living my life and trying to fulfill my own destiny and letting it. And I always think of others before myself. You know, that's an important thing.
Right on.
And so, and I do. My line of work is IT, and we have a lot of memorization, and I'm actually working and going to school.
Wow.
Which I know a lot of people are doing. So.
And you have a full-time, it's like a more than full-time channel too. And you have kids. That's insane, man.
Yeah,
we appreciate all the work you're doing.
Thank you too, Meegs. Meegs, you woke me up. You and EYA to the Bible changes. I didn't think our Bible could change. I was a little bit ignorant.
Really? Yeah, it's a tough thing to. I mean, it's bizarre. What can you say about it? It's like crazy. No one expected it, you know. I think Esoteric Detective will meet. Yeah, the first video I saw about the Bible changes was Esoteric Detective. That the heartbroken pastor one. I think that guy died since then.
Did we talk about Jynx from birth? You remember Jynx from birth being in there?
No.
Jynx from birth? I don't remember Jynx from birth.
Jynx is a castrated male, and I know we talked about this before, but I'm not sure if I've ever asked you if you remember seeing Jynx.
I don't. I think we did talk about this, but why would God create a
He wanted us to be fruitful and multiply. It doesn't make sense to me.
Right? How are they gonna do that? They don't have any. They can't multiply. No, that's crazy. That's more of this messed up. Oh, I was gonna say one of the most interesting changes. EYA covered this. I think it's in Revelation when they say the name of the beast will be. First of all, it was always 666. Or 666. Now it's 603 scores and 66. But the 6 is capitalized now. Like the name of the beast is capitalized. Guys, like, what does that say? They're you know, they're making the name of Satan more prominent, you know, they're like giving him more credit. They're making him a proper noun instead of, you know, you don't capitalize the beast, the name of the beast. No way.
I think you had a video one time talking about the bright and morning star versus the sun of the morning.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been. Between the two, remember? The sun of the morning in Isaiah and the bright and morning star. The bright and morning star is Jesus. The son of the morning being the devil. Do you remember this? I think you did a video on
it. Maybe EYA did. I might have mentioned it.
Okay, yeah, right. And this is a thing where, of course, you don't argue with EYA because you don't win.
Oh, True Biscuit. Got a question for you, Ty, from True Biscuit. He wants to know, or she wants to know, what is
it's a Pop-Tart. It's a Pop-Tart. I'm sorry, what?
Retrocausality. Oh, good one.
What about it?
What is it?
Help
us understand
retrocausality, as we understand it, Brian. You know about this too. When we're looking at the when it came to the cameras, we went back to a couple of videos done by, who was the gentleman that did it? Lone Eagle. Lone Eagle did the videos, and Retrocausality is where you go back, goes, and it seems that technology, in this particular instance, trying to explain retrocausality, that the cameras were around much sooner than, much earlier than we originally thought. So we would put the cameras at, say, 1910, 1920, 1930. Cameras were around in 1880, 1870, 1860, 1850, at a much greater than they have now.
Yep.
For whatever reason. Much greater quality. You can tell just by the photographs that they have. And they're not photoshopped, they're not touched up. They have motion camera film technology at a time when I didn't think that they did. In the frames themselves, in the pictures themselves, excuse me, in the moving pictures themselves, you can see technology that they have in the video that I didn't know they had. No one knew they had, okay? But apparently they did. I mean, those that have experienced the Mandela effect would say, geez, they didn't have that technology.
So
for retrocausality, it seems that technology has gone back and corrected itself since we're sitting in 2017 right now. It seems that technology has caught up with the Mandela effect backwards, retrocausality to where we are now. There you go.
The past is building itself over again.
Correct. Correct. The past is catching up with the future, which is crazy. And that's what retrocausality is. You know, that would be it.
Is anyone familiar with Ron John, like surfing equipment?
No, I saw the clip. I didn't comment on because
Ron John, to me, has upside down sixes now, where I don't remember it before.
Oh.
I'll show you what Chinese, sort of like a Chinese restaurant would look. I wanted to get you guys' opinion for this one. You remember it looking like that? Ron John?
I've never seen that. It's like a Chinese food font.
Oh, look at these upside down sixes. I was asking people earlier what they remember. I'm remembering it came to the bottom right here, like, and here too. I don't remember it dipping down that low. It's just too obvious.
Speaking of personal Mandela effects, because you live in the place, Meegs, that you grew up in, and I'm sure you have friends that you had through high school, college.
Yeah.
Do they perhaps have different memories than you do socially? Socially, what you did differently?
Oh, not socially.
Oh, remember you said this? Remember?
No, not socially, but I did hear a crazy story from a guy. Not for me personally, but I was just talking to the guy who introduced me to the Mandela effect like a year and a half ago. He
really?
said that a huge social, a very like specific memory changed for him, like between him and his friends, and it like totally weirded him out, but not for me personally.
Okay. I do, and that's why I don't bring it up to my friends, because I have a very, very, very good memory. Because hey, guess what? I didn't do drugs. Okay, so
that's good.
So I'm not a dullard when it comes to memory. I understand they're intact. You understand, and not everything. Obviously, I can't remember what I did in third grade in September. I don't know, but when I talked to several of my friends, and they said, well, you that I remember when you, and I'm going, wait, I don't have any recollection of doing anything like that. And that's concerning. Obviously, very disconcerting.
Totally.
One of my friends.
Because it almost makes you, like, stuff like that almost makes you think, like, well, if things are just going to change, what's the point of doing anything? Like, what's the point of taking anything seriously?
The real problem with being a guy, you see, I did not have my adult life where I grew up. So I left, I went to another city, literally went to another city.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, the problem is, when I was talking to some of my other friends, like Brian and that, Said, well, the problem is, in a personal Mandela effect, is did I go out with these people? Did I have relationships with these people? Do I have children with these people? I don't know. I don't know. And that would be a very uncomfortable situation where I would say, oh yeah, well, how are you? Well, you're an asshole. Well, wait, what do you mean? I didn't, and that's the problem. I don't want to face that type of uncomfortable thing. And that's exactly what I was talking with Brian about. They didn't want, yeah, I was wondering if you were talking with your friends, if you came across anything like that. You said that they had different types of things. So that's my
right. Yeah, I mean, this matters, doesn't it? Like the fact that we could have our social interactions, like, you know, we could have like drastically embarrassing situations. Now, like, this needs to be addressed, that this is even possible. Like, the Mandela effect could like mess up our memories, and like, so sorry.
And I appear, and the thing is that I appear to be very keen and very open-minded and very direct, and I'm willing to debate anything. You know, I'll talk about anything with anybody, but hey, a situation where I know I wasn't living here, and they go, I remember when you were, and this actually happened, where someone said that I was supposed to be, where I was somewhere where I know I wasn't there. Like, look, I wasn't there. Well, I know. Well, what? I wasn't there. And that's where things got, so I'm kind of skittish about bringing up the Mandela effect with my friends.
I'm not
because
all your friends are gone?
No, I'm not skittish at all about bringing it up with my friends. No.
Well, that's good. That is good.
You know, I don't hold anything back with that.
That's awesome. That's how we should be. You know, I'm just like traumatized to bring it up to like my close friends anymore, because they just it's like
how do you break the ice? Let's talk. How do you break the ice with people, Meegs? Do you bring up a specific Mandela effect?
For strangers, it's easier because I don't know. I guess like I can work the like weird, like I went to art school. I'm weird anyway, so I don't mind saying really weird, crazy things to people and just like getting their reaction. Because you know what? It comes to a point where at first you're afraid to be thought of as like some kind of freak, you know, and have this hostile reaction. But then after like a year and a half of this craziness, you just get, for lack of a better term, ballsy. Like, you know what I mean? You just get bored with keeping this in, because it's the most important thing to happen to humans ever. You know, it's the most
yeah, but that's no, that's not.
Besides Jesus coming, I mean, it's just like I get bored with holding it in, so I just find any chance to bring it up, because I am also in the doing this. We're in the process of a scientific experiment to see how people are reacting. You know what I mean?
Oh, a social experiment. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm the prison guard. You're the inmates. I saw this movie.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's not. I'm not afraid of their reaction. It's not that at all. It's the fact that a serious guy. They already know I'm not bluffing. I'm not kidding. I'm very upfront. I'm very serious. I mean, obviously, I can be humorous, obviously, but I'm very forthright. I'm very forthcoming about the stuff. And if I came up to them, as I have in the past, and I talked to some people, like I was talking to my son, my eldest son, and I said, hey, you know, the Mandela, have you heard of the Mandela effect? And he said, well, no, I haven't. I said, well, and I started to tell him, and he saw his eyes get real big. And then I realized what was happening. What's happening is that he knows that I'm not joking. His wife knows that I'm not joking. And they're scared because they know that I'm serious. They know, oh boy, if Tyler's saying something about it, must be true, right? What are we going to do? Well, just calm down. No, I mean, that's the point. They know that I'm serious. And so if I'm panicked, my God, it's like one of those things where you see a cop running by you, he starts running, he's running by you. Man, if the cop's running by you, you better start running too. You know, maybe that'd be a good idea. Maybe you should start running. Right? If they're running by you, you should start running too. And that's the type of reaction that I get from people. Jesus, so what's going on? What can we do? Oh, I've been talking to Brian and Meegs. It's really nothing that we can do. We just talk to people on YouTube. That's what we do. That seems to comfort us. What do you mean? So that's the thing. Some solution? What do we do? Oh, I don't know. I think we're totally in trouble. We're definitely in trouble. I go, well, yeah, but not really, because that's changed too. What? What's going on? Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't know. We're talking about it.
I don't know. We become, it's almost like we become doomsayers or something when we start bringing it up, don't we?
Exactly.
Well, that's the problem. I don't want to throw people into a panic. Oh, by the way, you're going to school. That's great. It's useless now.
Oh, by the way, those hot dogs you're eating are no longer Oscar Mayer. They're Oscar Mayer.
Right, exactly. That's all changed. Right, and that's the problem. I don't want to throw people into a panic. So what I try to do, where I find my niche, is I try to find people that are having trouble dealing with the Mandela effect, and I try to talk them down, so to speak, and let them know that this is a normal thing. If you're having a reaction to it, calm them down, talk to them, let them know that it's okay to feel that way. And for God's sakes, don't go to the psychiatrist. It's stupid.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't. Right. Sure.
Well, so you all know my story. I went to the trinity of counselors. I had a psychologist, a psychiatrist.
This is a great story. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The psychiatrist, the psychologist, and the therapist. I had all three.
Yep. Yeah.
like 2
years
ago?
Let me guess. And just to let you know, it was not a positive outcome.
They let you go.
And that's the point.
Well, to help, they made me take Strattera, which helps deal with ADHD. They said I had ADHD.
Because you're talking about the Mandela effect?
Yeah. Oh, and but the thing is, my therapist, she actually believes me now. Like she knows about it. She's like one of those people. Well, what can we do?
Right.
Honestly, the only thing we can do is be aware, of our environment. And really, I think if nothing else, even if something is not a Mandela effect, it's still worthy of knowledge.
Absolutely. That's right. Man,
it's very therapeutic for people like us. It's very therapeutic, to learn new things. And
actually, you guys are very high functioning MA people. Obviously, very high functioning. You do see a lot that's going on, and you're affected even in your daily lives because there's people around you that know that you know, and they interact with you. And you guys are very high functioning, but there are other people. We know people even in this group that are not as high functioning as you guys. So hard. It's a wonder how they get through their day.
Yeah.
So seriously, right. To be able to help them, we need to be able to talk to them. It's not so much counseling, though. It's just being a friend. Letting people know that, hey, by the way, you're not crazy. You're not crazy.
Right.
Affected. You're just a little bit affected. Everything's fine. And everyone's going to have their good and bad days. Like the fellow there, Life Matrix, that saw that cruise liner in the bay, he was freaking out. He wasn't just like, oh, wow, this, no. It wasn't like, that's a Mandela effect, let me take a picture. Of course, he's looking at that thing going crazy. Right. So I can imagine what that must have felt like. But if we can help people, I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Just putting on any Mandela channel just like soothes me a bit because it's just like, okay. It's because even though it's real, it's still soothing to hear like a voice or two of reason, just to make sure like you're not just all alone in this miasma, this chaos.
And that's the point. But I know that things get kind of crazy because they go in several different directions. Brian stays very close to home, very down to earth with what he sees. Because there's so much information out there, like I said, about aliens, flat earthers. The latest thing that I thought of you, Meegs, I thought of you when I saw the latest NASA video, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Clip about the astronaut going, oh yeah, NASA's lost all the footage of the moon thing, and we don't even have. I'm not even making it up. It's
that's bullcrap.
We don't even have the technology anymore to go back to the moon. That's gone. And all the telemetry that we got from the moon, that's gone too.
The Don Pettit guy.
I don't know who it was.
That video, he was all googly-eyed. He looked like a fool. I don't say that lightly. Like he looked like he was just like on drugs or something. Like he was like, We just lost.
But has NASA really lost all the information? Have they lost all the original footage? Is that what happened?
They've lost their minds for a long time. What he was saying in that video is that word for word, basically, like, we destroyed the technology we once had to be able to go to the moon, but it would be too tragic to rebuild it, so we're not going to do that.
That'd be like that would be the equivalent of, you know what do you got there, Rick? It's an iPhone. We can do anything with that. You know what? That's stupid. Break it. It's dumb. Let's go back to when the Abyss, you know, where they come with little numbers and beads. Let's go back to that because that's better. iPhones are stupid. We don't need that technology anymore. That's what they did, right?
Had a bad day at the office. It was like Office Space.
No.
They were playing that song like "Damn, It Feels Good to Be a Gangster," and they just took a machete to the moon rocket ship they once had, to the blueprints. Like, I don't know.
That would be the equivalent of, you know what? Don't sign the Beatles. The Beatles suck. Get rid of them. Get that guy Weird Al in here. Get Weird Al in here. He's good. Bring his accordion in here. He's great. We'll sign him right now. 10 record deal. Let's get him up here. Right? That's what they did.
They must have a lot of weird days at NASA.
The thing is, my thing was, I'm thinking that the moon landing actually, from the Mandela Effect perspective, is the fact that I believe that the moon landing was not a hoax. I don't think any of it was a hoax. But in the reality that we live in now, I think it's a very strong possibility that it all was a hoax, because I've never seen a multi-billion-dollar organization look like it's run by a couple of fast food junkies, because that's what it looks like. It looks like they're run by a Taco Bell manager that's left alone for
the Belluminati.
sniffing glue. Because I mean, oh my, does it look like that? What, Rick? Are you the only one here? Yeah, I guess so. I'm the only one here. Like, all this stuff, I have no idea. With his thick glasses, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But
no, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So I think maybe NASA and the moon landing, I believe, might be an ME in and of itself. I don't know.
It could be. It could be that it was.
What is
taking this one?
The moon has its own light emanating from it. It's colder than regular light. It's not even it's not solid. I don't think. It's a light source.
Well, I got it. Are there Taco Bells? Are there Taco Bells on the moon? That's what I mean.
I just think a heck of a lot of cheese, holographic
maybe
cheese.
There's McDonald's cheese burgers.
I looked at the holographic technology Meegs.
Yeah.
That you saw, produced by NASA, to fool the American people. I've never seen such chintzy, backward, ridiculous stuff in my life. I can't believe they actually tried to pit off some Good Morning American garbage in all my life. That's a Mandela Effect. Yes.
I'm with you, man. I believe the moon mission was fake. We had to do it. Something probably happened where we couldn't do it, so we had to fake it. That's what I'm guessing.
You make it, but they never went there. And the thing is that we went to our time, to this timeline now. You know, Meegs, you understand? Oh my God! Look, Bella. There's your friend, the cat on the screen.
Hello.
This reality. We went back to the moon several times, supposedly. Correct?
6 times. 6.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Number 6.
Okay. There's no way we could have went there at all. No way. I mean, I don't want to say no way. We did. Okay, it doesn't look like we did. I just cannot believe that we did at all.
One of the most convincing things to show people when you're introducing the flat Earth is to show the unedited moon mission trip while they're purposely faking the glowing orb that is the Earth from the window of the rocket ship on the way to the moon.
Yeah.
It's moving.
The other thing is the picture of the Earth from the picture of the Earth from the moon,
right,
is wrong in relative size, and that's the thing that says, oh, wait a second, oh my God, they're right. The Earth is the wrong size, so it should be much bigger, and it looks like a little moon.
Yeah, I know.
Did a whole generation Did a whole generation miss that? I think they did. So it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So
right, it's space. That's just how it works in space. Things.
Now the thing is, I hate to bring 9/11 up, but I'm gonna. Okay.
All right.
The thing is that I think, I really do, that it was a mass. Okay, I'm not saying that the whole 9/11 thing was a complete conspiracy. I'm not saying all that stuff. I'm not getting into energy weapons or any of this stuff. I'm not getting into that stuff.
Why
But
not?
I will say, because it's a whole other subject, I will say that that's an instance like the moon landing, that it was a massive thing on a massive scale, and they were daring enough to do it. They were daring enough to do it because there's things when you look back at the 9/11, 9/11 videos, 9/11 reporting, 9/11 everything, when you go over the fact and problems in there that just don't have answers. And that's the thing. With the moon landing, it's the same thing. Nobody asked them because it was
so successful.
It was such a big thing. Everybody was like, terror. I mean, imagine 9/11. Okay, someone robs a bank down the street in Ohio or St. Louis or Florida or wherever, right? They rob a bank down the street. We don't know who did it. We put up a picture. See this guy? It's a little shady black and white thing. No one knows who it is. Is it Rick? Is it Bob? Is it Joe? Is it George? We don't know. Anybody have information? We will find this guy. So 2 weeks later, they still don't know who did it. We're investigating. A guy who eats a box of donuts a day is now going to investigate for the next 6 months to find out who this guy is. Okay? But 9/11, the building falls within minutes. This is the guy, Bin Laden. This is who did it. We know this is the guy.
Right.
That's what they did, right? We knew within minutes. It's Bin Laden. We know this guy. We know who it is. This is who it is. This is what we're looking for.
Nobody.
That's what it is. Nobody questioned it. But like, oh, no, who did it?
Right.
He's hiding. It's like where's Waldo? But Bin Laden. What?
Did anyone question things back then, or did we just go along with it?
Nobody questioned it. Nobody questioned anything. They're like, yes, get that guy.
Came out in college, but like nobody.
Where was Alex Jones back then?
No. People were like people were so mad. I'm surprised they didn't burn down every mosque in the United States. They were so mad, and they tried to temper everything too. They did, because they tried to. I mean, the joke is true about Bin Laden, where they say, "Oh yeah, Bin Laden did it. He's a Saudi, so what we need to do is attack Afghanistan and Iraq." That's what they did.
No, but what gets me
what
gets me is in the 1985 Back to the Future movie, we see a lot of references to 9/11, the Twin Pine becoming those single pine, lonely pine, right? And then there's
Twin Pine.
That doesn't mean a whole lot. I can give you better references. Yeah,
I know, but I'm just wondering, is that something that we missed while watching the movie, or is it retro causality, meaning that it
was always there. It wasn't retro causality. It was always there. But those numbers, the numerology thing that you came up with, the 666.
Yeah.
The references of 9/11 on 9/11, they're all over the place. The people on the plane adds up to 11. The people on another plane add up to 11. The flights add up to 11. The time adds up to 11. The date adds up to 11. The buildings look like 11. There's 110 floors in each. I mean, everything adds up to 11. What does the 11 mean? Anybody know what the number 11 means?
I don't know, but it's also happens in the 23rd hour of the day. The number 23 comes up as well.
No, it's 23 is also an 11. Okay, but that's not the point. 11 in the Bible means only one thing, and what does it mean? Judgment. Ooh. 11 means judgment. That's what the number. Now, what I mean about Bible numerology, I mean when the number is used in the Bible, more often than not, whether it's 80%, 70%, 90%, whatever, is the devil's number. That is the devil's number, 13. It's not 666. It's 13. Number of the beast. It has nothing to do with the devil. It's a number, it's a system. It's a number of a man, M-A-N. It's not the number of a devil, guys. It's the number of a man. The number 11, 9/11.
I heard that Jesus' actual birthday was probably on 9/11.
That's
No.
what I would do.
That's crazy.
Also,
Jesus' actual birthday was in Song of Solomon, guys. That's the birth of Jesus. They talk about my beloved. Okay, that's they're talking about it in the Song of Solomon. Yeah, he's born in the springtime.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's born in the springtime. Yeah, it's definitely not the winter solstice, guys. That's witch stuff. You know that.
right.
That's why it's there. Yeah, definitely not in the winter.
Well,
Yeah.
we
How
celebrate.
about this, guys? How about this for New Age stuff? Ready? Here's a New Age stuff for you, Megs. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's think of Santa Claus. Who do you think of this guy? I want to think about Santa Claus just for a second. Santa Claus, ready? You're thinking of him. He's a nice guy in the North Pole, right? He's a great guy in the North Pole. He's a jolly old guy.
Somewhere.
They call him Saint Nick. Saint Nicholas is a patron saint of alcohol. That's who he is. Saint Nicholas is a patron saint of alcohol in Catholicism. But jolly old Santa Claus, we all know what Santa Claus is. Santa Claus is a hermaphrodite. What? How would you say such a thing?
What?
Well, let me think. What is a male and what's a female? San Francisco is a male. San Diego is a male. San is male. Santa Barbara. Santa Cruz.
Oh my God.
They're females. Santa
Weird.
Claus is a female name. Anybody miss that? It's a
No, I
female
missed
name.
Weird.
Everybody missed it. That's what we call deception.
Guys,
That's what we call
weird.
deception. Okay, so now you guys were talking about Easter. Ground. Jesus Christ was in the ground. It's correct. 3 days and 3 nights for the crucifixion, right? Everybody knows that?
Yeah.
Meegs?
Yep.
Here we go. Friday, he died that night. Saturday, and then he rose again. That's not 3 days and 3 nights. You can't get that 3 days and 3 nights, no matter if you were at a Chinese diner. And 3 nights out of that thing. How is it 3 days and 3 nights?
Right.
It's not. But it works if you're belong to a certain denomination.
Right.
Days and 3 nights. It's not 3 days and 3 nights. He didn't die on Friday. He didn't raise on Sunday because it's not 3 days and 3 nights.
Interesting.
Never heard of that before, but it's deception right in front of your eyes.
Meegs.
Right in front of your eyes. Go ahead.
According to one kid's book released in October of this year, Santa has a husband.
Of course.
Well, of course, because Santa's a female. Of course, Santa.
The world is
No.
down now.
But you understand. These are just little things that, if people would think about them, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you cannot shake your mind. You cannot sit there and you cannot wrap your mind around Santa is a girl's name. That's right, Santa. It's female.
That's a really good point. I never thought about that.
Right, it is.
Really
there you go. Right, and there's not Friday to Sunday is not 3 days and 3 nights.
Insane. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, they're doing that type of stuff on Disney too. Isn't there like the first movie about a princess who's actually a boy or something? Or like,
Are they making one like that?
Yeah, wow. That's really strange.
That's cray cray. And then we have
Did you say cray cray? He said cray cray. We're gonna have a little bell here now. Every time he does something like that, we're gonna have a bell. Like that's cray cray. You'd be like, right, hit that bell.
I'm asking you.
That is really weird.
Rice or Uncle Ben Rice?
Sure.
I'm stumped on this one.
Uncle Ben.
It's Uncle Ben. It's Uncle Ben's. Yeah, that's Spider-Man's uncle, right? Uncle Ben.
Well, where's his white hair?
Weird.
Yeah, house is crazy.
This is white
That's
hair.
crazy.
Huh.
What? That's not right. No.
Whoa,
no.
that's weird.
That's another,
What? That looks wrong.
This is Teresa's find. So what do you remember with Uncle Ben? What did he look like to you? Tell
not like that. Not like that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
He was,
and there's our several pictures, and not like that. Yeah, he had hair.
Okay, Jemima was actually documented. She had a bonnet on her head, and they took it off to make her appear less of a slave girl. They didn't want her to appear as a slave girl. That was documented. So that's not a Mandela. But yeah, so what weren't his eyebrows like gray also or something? White? Were they like white? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
white going on. Yeah, for sure.
Look at that.
For sure, for sure. Whoa! Now he's
Uncle Ben looked
shiny
more. Uncle Ben looked more
white, but
distinguished. That's what it should say. He looked more distinguished.
he looked friendlier too before, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I don't know.
No, that's not right either. That's not right.
Definitely not right. Wow,
Yeah.
good catch. Who found that one?
Teresa found that one. She scours. Whoa, what's up with his weird shape eyebrows? They look like Grinch.
They look like
eyebrows.
Michael Aquino's eyebrows. They look like satanic eyebrows.
Like the Grinch.
Weird.
The Grinch.
Maybe.
Weird. There's just so many.
Hurts my head.
The thing is that the eyebrows look like they're tailored to 2000-ish type of look, and not from a 1940s look, which is what it was.
Is Uncle Ben's good for you?
You understand?
If it's in a box,
it's rice.
It's not good for you.
It's rice. What do you mean? Rice is, I mean, you understand that 70% of the world lives on rice. That's all they eat all the time. What's rice? Again, yes, that's what we have.
Rice balls.
We have rice. That's what we're eating
now. So snow.
Rice and fish.
Snow burns and it smells like plastic now.
Which, I don't know, it's leading me to think about rice-a-roni now because we were talking about Uncle Ben's.
Oh, yeah.
How has that changed?
Not rice-a-roni. They can have our Uncle Ben's, they can have our Aunt Jemima's, they can have our Bible, but not rice-a-roni.
Not our Uncle Ben's, right? What about ramen noodles? Have they messed with that? I mean, have they why can't an Emmy go? Why can't an Emmy go on a positive light? Like all of a sudden, ramen noodles has no high sodium content at all. Where ramen noodles is like actually good for you.
You know what?
I mean? You can spend 25 cents and you can exist. I'm a college student. I live on ramen noodles, right? You know what I mean?
Okay, first of all, it's ramen. Second of all, I sometimes love watching Lone Eagle's videos because he tries so hard to make the Emmy into a positive thing, and I'm like, bless ya, you know. But I just don't think it's positive, like at all.
No,
you know?
It's not at all positive.
Not even a little.
How can this possibly be good for you? And in any way, shape, or form. Let me take this brick and place it in water. The only nutrient that's good in ramen. Did you call it ramen?
Ramen. Yeah.
Ramen. I don't care.
Like ramen.
I was a suburban kid. You understand? So ramen. You know what I mean? I didn't even know. The first time I saw food stamps, I thought it was magic. When my friends had food stamps, like, what is that? Food stamps. I was like magic. You know, I thought it was like Monopoly money. Really? That's crazy. That's crazy. I had no idea what it was.
What is up with the C and the H? Just doing a weird little.
Oh,
what's this? What C? What is it?
The C and the H are connected, and we have.
Yeah, that's not right.
Why would they do that design-wise? That makes no sense.
Sodium in their diet, obviously, and that's what makes them do.
Loopy.
Yeah, loopy. I mean, you get in one little package. I think you get a week's worth of sodium.
I know.
That's
I
used
to just make the noodles and just pour the sodium, like the sodium packet on top of it with no water.
Right. They're not even trying to fake it. Look, see nutrition information for sodium content. Why don't you just say salt? Just say salt. That's all you got to say. Salt. That's all you got to say. Salt noodles. That's what it is.
My friend was talking about prison pizza the other day. They used ramen noodles as the crust in prison.
Oh my God! Oh, ridiculous!
Wait, what?
Pizza. My friend was telling me about prison pizza and how make ramen into the crust of the pizza and put cheese on top of it and I don't know what would be the sauce, like some kind of ragu or something. I don't know. Have
you looked into any of the Emmys or any of the problems with the prison population at all?
The Christian population?
Meegs, the prison population. Have you noticed? Do you know anything about it?
That's a really good question. You know what?
All I know is that our prison population now in the 70s for the nation was only, and I'm talking about a national prison, was only 300,000 in the 70s, and now it's like 2 million in prison.
Whoa.
Which, yeah, so.
Whoa, hang on, guys.
Incarcerated people. Whoa. That's too many people in prison.
Everybody knows. That's the problem. Everybody knows. It's way too many people.
But you know what? You know who's like a really interesting community that sees the Mandela effect usually is the targeted individual community. They're like incarcerated without actually being incarcerated.
What are you talking about? Who?
They're incarcerated in plain air. Okay, you know gang stalking, right? Targeted individuals of organized gang stalking. They're they talk about electronic harassment and like covert and overt surveillance and stalking and harassment and stuff. A lot of them can see the Mandela effect, oddly enough. If you haven't really heard much about them, I really recommend researching it because it's like a death camp type situation, except it's silent. It's like silent torture on these people. They use like directed energy weapons on people.
Oh my God! This is a fringe group. This is a fringe group, is what you're talking about. I mean, notwithstanding, you do understand that we are the fringe of the fringe of the fringe. We are.
It would be very much
they've got to have more friends than we do. They got to have more friends.
They're friends with each other, I guess. But they're going through torture. Like it's crazy. But a lot of the people I've talked to can see the Mandela effect. It's like an odd amount of people in that community can see the image. I don't know.
I wonder how many socially unacceptable subclassifications of groups that you can belong to and still exist. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? It'd be the equivalent of wearing plaid.
I wonder if the bronies.
Right, you know what I mean? Right, you know what I mean? You're going to be wearing plaid. You don't like white people.
Yeah.
And, you work for the IRS, but you do have a couple strikes against you. You can't get insurance to save your life. You have parking tickets. You drive a foreign car.
Well,
right, you know what I mean? Plus, you're a vegan. Plus, you're a vegan, right? Can you imagine?
I know. I just bring it up because they are gaslighted in that community, just like we are. No one believes them that program exists where you can be put on a list and be gang stalked and electronically harassed basically to death. But they're gaslighted just as much as we are. But it's funny that they can kind of see it.
Oh, for God's sakes, Brian, you have to edit this because if Teresa watches this and she's gonna see it, and then she's gonna be like, oh, you know what I mean? You gotta edit. Can you edit that out?
Edit what out?
The gang stalking. I realize now what she's talking about. She's take schizophrenics and make it true, and that's gang stalking. That's basically what it is. Someone's reading my mail, and they are reading your mail. Someone took my phone, and they did take.
Are we gonna have to duke it out, Ty? Are we gonna have to? Is it gonna come to blows? No, I feel for the TI community because I know one's my friend now, so in real life. So.
Oh, okay. So props to your friend in real life.
One of my very few real life friends. Yeah.
I'm not allowed out anymore in public. I got it very shortly. So there's actually I have something on my ankle. I don't know if you've seen. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, we can still be friends, Ty, even though you don't.
No. Okay. I see, Brian. It is true. Meegs is my friend. See, I told you.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice? That's great. Not that she cares. She still talks.
She knows you were just messing with her.
She still talks crap on me on her channel. I know. She's like, oh, Tyler said this, and he's full of crap.
Would never.
No, actually, she's like Tyler. Shh, don't tell anybody, but
never,
close,
never,
right?
ever. TY.
I understand.
TY.
She calls me TY. That's cool. TY.
What's up, TY?
She always ends it with TY. She always ends everything with a question, just so she gets an edge. She's like, hey,
what do you think about that, TY?
Right. I'm sorry, your mic's not working, Ty. Sorry, I can't hear you. It must be on your end. So anyways, I suppose I explained to everybody how Tyler is wrong yet again. So anyway,
it's okay to be wrong. We still love you.
Yeah.
Anyway, who knows?
I don't know which. I don't know what's worse: the fact that you're lying to me about loving me, or the fact that you're saying that I'm wrong. How often am I? But it's okay. But in all seriousness,
crazy community.
That's good. That's like, you know what, Brian? That's like saying, "Oh, you know what? I really like you a lot as a friend." That's the best thing to get. You know, every guy loves that. You know what? You are just so special to me as a friend. Those are the 3 words no guy ever wants to hear. Oh my God, you're so special. I've never met anybody like you.
As a friend.
Talk about gaslighting. That's what guys love to hear. Oh boy, but I'm just teasing.
Well, we may wake up tomorrow and be different genders, so I mean, who knows?
Oh, great! Then I'll never have anything to wear. That's great. You know what I mean? That's great. Can you imagine? None of my shoes fit. None of my shoes fit.
I'm just kidding. I don't think it would be that bad. Although, who knows? I didn't expect the anatomy changes to happen either. So, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, the thing is that with the Mandela effect, there's a lot of things that are definitely subjective to our memory. But the geology changes around the world. The geography changes around the world. The anatomy changes, and of course, where we are sitting in the solar system and the galaxy has changed as well to a lot of people's recollections. So those are the 3 biggest ones. So why not? So now we have blue dogs and blue. What's the other one? Blue dogs and blue. Brian.
Blue tarantulas.
Blue lions.
It was blue lions. Right. So I saw blue lions today, and I was like,
oh my God.
And I was like, I was going to have some extreme psychotic reaction to blue lions, and I said, no, it's okay. Blue lions, I can deal with blue lions.
This is a crazy mixed up world we're living in, guys, but
I know.
But I love y'all. We're all in this together for,
we're all just enjoying
it. What do you think? I want to pose a bigger question to both of you.
Yeah, sure.
You know, Schrodinger's cat, the observer effect.
Schrodinger's cat.
And the observer effect.
Yeah.
Okay, are you familiar with the observer effect?
Yeah.
Well, if any, plays into the Mandela effect.
It's another facet.
The fact that we see it, do we change it?
See, I think we live in a supernatural world, but I think the fact that thinking that we can change reality just by thinking it is actually magical thinking, and that's faulty thinking. I think that's what the agenda is, to make us think that way.
Yes.
I think Satan wants us to think that way. Whoever's doing this wants us to fool us into thinking there's string theory is correct. There's a billion different parallel dimensions. I don't actually agree with that. I think that's a big deception within this effect. I think there's only one reality that we're living in, and it's the one that God created, and that's all. I think if it gets way too complicated for anything to be pieced together in the Bible. If there's all these different dimensions with all these different decisions we're making in those different dimensions, why would God make it so confusing for existence to be that way? I think there's a big deception with the Mandela effect that we're just in a magical world where we can change things with our thoughts, and it just falls apart really. Because then it's like, why do anything? What's the point of any? Why? Why?
Right, I'm of the opinion that is not true. That is not a normal. That power of positive thinking, or changing things with your mind, is a new age type of thinking, and both Brian and I are not 100% on that. However, we have found out that things do change in front of us, which leads into what's going on.
Right.
We have an observer effect where we can see it. But the thing that gets me is that the multiverse theory, if there was multiverse, or there more than one universe, it would allow for the changes. It would allow for the changes not only with geography, because it can't be time travel. It's got to be something different about the world. Like obviously South America, it doesn't matter how much evolution took place or how further back in timeline the timeline had changed. Time travel, it would never push South America as far east as it is today. So time travel has got to be out of the question.
Right.
So it has to be something else. So then the question goes into our anatomy changes, which you're familiar with. Obviously, no amount of time travel would change our anatomy. So the question then would be has the Earth changed or have I changed?
Well, we are made from dust. I mean, like I was saying in the last video,
at least it's not Skittles. That's great.
We don't even fully know the nature of our reality because we've been deprived the real way that physics works and the real way that
well, you hit an interesting point, Meegs. You hit an interesting point. We're not sure the way that physics works. So if you would allow just for 1 second the multiverse, if you allow for the multiverse, as me and Brian and the other guys were just talking before you got here, the proposition of perhaps what we're experiencing is pollution. Quantum pollution would happen if you had an overlap or colliding of different universes coming together, and you would have representations of one and the other at the same time. And they don't have to agree. It doesn't have to make sense. It can be one, the other, or both, and you can have two people looking at the same thing and saying, yes, it was, and no, it wasn't. And that's what we have here. That would be quantum pollution. And but another thing that explains, another thing that quantum pollution does is it certainly satisfies the one with all these other theories, and that is residuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So quantum pollution allows for the multiverse, but who am I? I'm not a physicist. So, but I do play one on TV. But yeah, I'm just.
That's enough qualification to make you a real scientist these days.
Yeah.
So.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So no, the point is that these things, I think, at least in theory, are at least something to think about. Such that it's just not. It's not just saying I don't know what's happening.
Exactly, and you know what? Nobody really knows beyond the shadow of a doubt. We just have to go on what we know to be truth. And for me personally, that would be like biblical, but it doesn't say that there's not a quantum multiverse in the Bible. I mean, maybe.
Well, God is the God of the universe. We can allow for a multiverse because He's still in charge of it. That's the point. I mean, that's like saying
no matter what's the nature of our existence, he is in charge absolutely through it all. So
yeah, I would have to agree. I'd have to agree. But if we allow for the multiverse and we allow for quantum pollution, just saying, if we allow conversation, what becomes completely subjective becomes a little bit objective, and we're able to breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah,
that's why I like it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because if not, I'd be freaking out every time I heard about the Lindbergh baby. I'd be freaking out every time I looked at a map at the South America gone. Has it moved a little more? I mean, the polar ice cap is gone. Nobody cares. I mean, where did it go? No one's even looking for it. I'd be looking for it, right?
Right. And when you ask people, they have no clue
they don't even
what
care.
North Pole even is.
Right, they don't even care
that they don't know.
Right, Santa Claus house is gone. It's gone. He's hermaphrodite, and it's gone. So
I could have almost sworn that the North Pole was near Greenland somewhere.
It was. But they fixed that? There's a North Pole in Alaska.
There's the North Pole in Alaska, and there's one in Greenland too, I think.
Yeah, hey, how about that? Great.
There's like 5 North Poles apparently.
What?
Right,
like
sure.
A terrestrial North Pole, a magnetic North Pole, geographical North. It's like what? There's so many.
I'm waiting for a particular reality where we have another Christmas in June, and that guy lives down at the South Pole, and everybody gets presents again. That'd be nice. Every 6 months, that would be great. Why they put that thing in the middle of winter? I freaking out.
I'm just curious. Have you guys ever heard of the Coriolis effect?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like when you flush the toilet or a drain, you watch water go in a drain and it spins around counterclockwise.
Right and left, right and left. It's in this hemisphere, it goes right, and the other hemisphere it goes left.
Yes, yes. So how do you explain that in the flat Earth aspect? That's what I'm trying to understand. You know, like stuff like that.
Wait a second. Are we talking in middle school when you're holding some kid down, or are you talking about in reality? No, I'm just kidding. I never did that. Never did that. But what the point is how do you explain it? It's by the
wasn't it just
by the
different?
equator. By the equator. By the equator, and what you say is where it goes.
Even real? I thought it was just the way that different toilets work. Like I heard that it wasn't even like
really?
Effect.
That is really sweet that you thought it was just the way that works. Yeah, that would be a whole way of the Joneses gone. Mom, you know what? This sucks. We need to be like Timmy's parents. Here's the toilet that flushes left. So let's go. It's got to do with the equator and where you sit below the equator. Line goes right, below the line goes left.
You know what I heard, guys? You know what I heard that actually proves, I mean, the Bible and everything was because they found Noah's Ark. I mean, everything biblical is true in history, I think. They found Noah's Ark. It was on top of Mount Ararat, you know?
Yeah, where it was supposed to be. I've heard that before. When was it found?
Gosh, I think late 90s, something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. Supposedly, they don't know what it is for sure, but yeah, they found it.
They found it.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I know that there's, I mean, tons of evidence that backs up the Bible, even the prophecies.
You found well, of course. Well, the problem with the Bible and the prophecies is that when you're looking at the Bible and the prophecies from the Old Testament to the New, talking about Jesus Christ and his crucifixion, I think there is 24 or 48, 24. I think there's 24 prophecies that came true, and the odds of it coming true on those prophecies, what they were, like 1 in a gazillion. Really, it's 1 in like 115 zeros. Really, it's really the odds are amazing. But the Old Testament prophecies concerning the Jesus Christ's second coming are 500 more that have yet to be fulfilled. 500. 500. That's a lot more prophecies than just the crucifixion. There's 500 more that are yet to be fulfilled. So that's a lot. So you can see why, if someone wanted to mess with the book, why it would be imperative that they did. Now, here's another thing. Here's another thing that you guys maybe didn't think about with Jesus Christ. You do understand that Jesus Christ came from a certain bloodline, that he was the Son of God and he was the Son of Man. He's the Son of God because he's the literal Son of God. Okay, that's his dad. That's why not his dad. His father, you understand, is God. Okay, the Son of Man because both his mother and his father, Joseph and Mary, both came from the lineage of David. And who is David? David is the king, as you know. You go back and you got Noah. You go back, you have Abraham. You understand they're all grandson, grandfather, grandson, grandfather, grandson, grandfather. They're all related. It's the same family. That's lineage. Okay? Such in the Old Testament, you see that the devil is trying to infiltrate that godly line, trying to poison that line. Okay? That's where you get all your kingly lines, where you talk about keeping your line pure. That's where it comes from. Nowadays, it's not about keeping that line pure anymore because it's done. It doesn't matter. Okay? Now everybody's the same. It's an attack cat. So the camera goes crazy. Your camera went crazy. I thought your cat went crazy, but no. Okay.
Yeah,
So now you have what's called, believe it or not, you have what's called the children in this thing. You have the children of disobedience in the Bible, children of disobedience, and you've got people called that are children of the devil and of a particular seed, of a particular line. These people of old coming back up. Problems today. People don't talk about it. It's an unpopular doctrine, but you definitely have it. where people have changed. Oh, the kids are different today. They are different today. So you talk about, you say apathy, they don't care. You say this, there's a whole line of thought, a whole pattern of reasoning that goes into this children of the devil thing, that not from me and you, but in the Bible it talks about reprobates. There's no talking to them. There's no saving them. You can feel bad all you want, but then there's nothing that you can do with them.
Right.
Brian,
You're
Brian, you know this stuff, of course.
Yeah, you're totally right about that.
Brian knows.
We can't.
But you know, all these people that say God is love, God is love, God is love, God is, yeah, it's true. History, but that's not the God that's coming back. The present day heavens and earth. What's supposed to happen to the present day heavens and earth according to 2 Peter?
Oh, it's going away pretty fast.
No, it's supposed to burn. With water, the next time it's going to be with fire. So it's different. So the God of love that people are so concerned about, Christ is coming back, and boy, is he angry. He's really mad.
He's a God of love, but he's also holy, you know, and that's part of his judgment, is he, you know, that he's keeping true to his word, that, you know, this is all going to take place. But yeah, right. It does come across. I mean, it's hard to be an apologist for some of the more like violent prophecies.
Do you remember in the Old Testament those priests that went into the tabernacle? Do you remember that they had to do the cleansing ritual and they had to clean themselves up in a very certain way before they went into the Holy of Holies in the Old Testament?
Right.
Do you remember that, Meegs? You remember that too, Brian. You remember they got to clean themselves up. And one time, one of the priests, didn't clean himself up. He forgot to do something. He forgot to clean himself, to purify himself in a certain way. And when he entered into that temple, what happened?
He died. He couldn't.
He burned up. He died immediately. Boom. Our uncleanliness going before God. Because God is not a mean God. God's not, he's not like, oh, he's such unfair. God is so holy. God is so pure that if we stood before God and God revealed himself to us, we would burn up.
Yeah.
Well,
we're not holy.
We're sinners. We can never balance out all the way with our righteousness versus our unrighteousness. We can never completely balance it out, and that's why we have Jesus Christ, who redeems us and gets us to that grace that we need from God. You know.
That's right.
No, that's not true. That's a Catholicism point of view. This is what happens in actuality. So
that is true.
And hit the ball right out of the park the first time with one swing. When you get saved, when you become a Christian, you put on the righteousness of Jesus Christ. When God looks at you, all that he sees of you is Jesus Christ. He doesn't see anything else. He only sees Jesus Christ. If he saw any bit of Tyler, any bit of Brian, he has to see only Jesus Christ. That's all he sees. That's all he sees. So
I have to tell you, I have a friend, not going to say names. He said Jesus is not God, and short time after he suffered a stroke. Not saying caused by that, but I still would not take that chance. We all know John 1:1, and I said this a couple times on the show. You know, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. You know, Jesus is the Word; He is God. You know. Yeah,
well, it's a very popular false doctrine to say that Jesus Christ is not God, because they don't realize the dichotomy that Son of Man. Jesus Christ.
Ontological.
Well, what it is that Adam was a king. You understand? He was a king. He holds the crown. He lost the crown to the devil. Jesus Christ came. He died on the cross, took the crown back. It's his now. But he also held the crown as Son of God. He held the crown of Son of God and Son of Man. Well, my Father, why hast thou forsaken me? He's not speaking as the Son of God at that point. He's talking as the Son of Man. He's holding two crowns. Son of God, which is the heavenly crown. Son of Man, which is the earthly crown. You know it better as the king. He is both. He holds both crowns. Son of God, Son of Man. Now, the point is that when you die, all that he sees is Jesus Christ. That's all he sees. Okay, the fact that he's God is really doesn't matter. In the Old Testament, you had the as the Messiah, the one that's supposed to save you. That was the deal with the baptism of John the Baptist. You saw that Jesus Christ happened to be, oh my gosh, you're the Messiah. Yes, I am. I'm the man. See that nobody knows it. Remember the demon saying, "Thou art the Son of God," and he commanded them not to tell anybody. Remember?
Yeah.
Right. It was a secret. I am the Messiah. You are not just the Messiah. Peter said. He goes, "Oh, you didn't learn this from man. Only God can tell you. Yes, only God can tell you. You're the Son of God." You see the deal? He held both crowns. So, without Jesus Christ, once that salvation is dependent on only one thing, that you trust him fully and completely and nothing else. No more, no less. Baptism can save a dead horse. Water can't save you. Not your commandments. Commandments can't save you. Commandments were the wise schoolmaster to bring you to the law. You know it says that. It's a schoolmaster to bring you to the law, to show you the law. And even let me ask you this, if you try to keep the law, what are you supposed to do after you break the law, Brian? If you got grace,
you face the punishment. Whatever the case is, you're supposed to face the punishment if you break a law.
No, I'm saying today, what would you do? After Jesus Christ died on the cross and rose again, what do you do? After you broke, what do you do after you break a commandment? After you sin, what do you do?
Ask for forgiveness.
You ask for forgiveness. Yeah, you try to get yourself redeemed.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake too. You're already redeemed. There's two different things: state and standing. State and standing. There's a difference between state and standing. Think of it like a plane. I'm going to California. We're all going to California. We're all sitting next to each other. We're all together, Pepsi and Coke, on a plane. Well, Megs probably doesn't drink Pepsi. She drinks.
Perrier.
The point is that we're all sitting there, soda and coffee or whatever, in California. Meegs is very nervous. Brian is tired, excitable. Okay, all of our states are different. It's about the plane, but the plane's going to California. It doesn't matter how we feel about it. The plane's going to California.
Boss, the plane.
Now, so you understand. In this analogy, people are going to heaven. It doesn't matter. Some people go to heaven in a terrible condition. They didn't get enough sleep. They led terrible lives. They committed crimes. They committed adultery. You're still going to heaven. It's a shame that the state they're in when they get to California. But they're going to get to California regardless. The
Only
shape
if
that
you
you get.
accept Jesus, though. Right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, right.
Of course. But the state, there's a difference between state and standing. So why are you worried about the state that you do the best that you can and you don't dwell on it? Obviously, you're not going to go around killing people. You're not going to do that. You're not going to go around robbing banks, but you're not going to sit there and worry about every little thing that you do. That's foolishness. You're going to get there. You're going to get there regardless. Don't worry about going to heaven. And if you didn't, the question I like to ask people is that if you died right now, where would you go? Are you sure that you go to heaven? Are you 100% sure you go to heaven? Well, I'm not really sure. I don't really know. I'll see when I get there.
I feel like Jesus has bought the tickets for me, and I've already got the flight ready and prepared.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is with that? Yeah, here's the problem with that. No one in the Bible ever felt that way. Not in the Old Testament, not in the New Testament. Going to heaven, never had any doubt about it at any point. John, James, Jude, Revelation. No one ever said, geez, I don't know how I feel about it. Let me see if I can get myself down to church. I need to give some money to the poor. Maybe. No. Everybody who was going to heaven in the Bible knew they were going to heaven. They didn't doubt it. They didn't doubt it for 15 seconds.
I would disagree with that.
No one ever said. Nobody ever said. In fact, in the book of Ephesians, it says that not only are we sure we're going to heaven, the Bible says that we're already there. In Ephesians chapter 2, it says we're seated in heavenly places.
Right.
We're seated in heavenly places. If we're seated in heavenly places, that means that in some part of us, we're already there.
Right.
Probably a name card or something sitting up there. It has Meg's name on it. You know, a bottle of water, of course. I know, but you understand. We're already there.
Right.
You see what I mean? So, and you're trying to get to heaven by doing something for it in any way, whether you're going to give money to the Girl Scouts, you can help out the poor, widows, whatever you're doing. If you could earn it.
I'm still wondering why, of all the Mandela effects, Moses is depicted with horns.
Isn't that crazy? That's all.
It doesn't make any sense, because I only remember that stick in the wilderness that he held up. The snakes coming to you, you know that thing? That's what I remember. I don't remember the horns thing. But going back to the doing good works, or if you could earn it in any way, think about this. If you could earn it in any way at all, if you could earn your salvation in any way, and I mean help in any way, if you could earn it, why in the world did Jesus Christ have to die in the first place?
Right.
Make sense? There you go.
Right.
Anyways, boy, I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. We're kind of winding down here. I know it's like very close to Christmas. And whoa, yeah, it's actually the 23rd.
Happy
That's
23rd.
Right.
Happy 23rd.
23rd, right? Sure, everybody knows. Happy 23rd. It's one of my favorite holidays. I thought it was a great talk. I'm sorry that I got.
My kids have to go through 4
sidetracked there.
I know some of you out there probably go through way more Christmases. I don't know. I mean, hope you have a big SUV or something to pack all those gifts in. And stay safe on the road out there.
I'm still working on mine.
Of course. Yeah, please be very, very safe. No problems, guys. Okay, guys.
Right.
But I do have a lovely giveaway.
Ooh.
Let's see. Meegs, you pick somebody from the chat this time. I never really call on any of the people here to pick some of the people.
I've been on my phone. I can't even see the chat at all. But hello, guys. Thank you if you're watching.
It has to be. Wait, pick one girl and one guy.
Oh, let's see the chat. I want to see. They probably hate me because I went off on that Bible thing. Is there anybody left, or did they all leave after the Bible thing?
I think Prelim picked me last time for the C.S. Lewis series because it was my birthday. So I picked Prelim if he hasn't already received a gift. If he's even in the chat.
I gotta see this chat. Where's the chat thing? I'm trying to see it here. I'm trying to see.
I wish I could.
Hey, I can't see it. I can't see chat.
If
I'll show you what I have here. Okay, first. Okay.
Check that out.
This is what we have. For a guy, we have Labyrinth, the movie.
Oh my goodness.
Zoe. I had to get that. For a guy. For a girl, I have this American flag shirt. It's a size.
Not too shabby.
Size medium.
Not too shabby at all.
Pretty cool, huh?
Cool. Well, I can't really see who's in the chat, so Ty, you should pick if you can see.
This blue labyrinth. The labyrinth is a size large.
Cool.
So I need you to pick 2 people, folks.
Okay. Well, I know it's been a long night. If he's listening.
Who?
Preliminal.
Premillennial. Premillennial.
Preliminal. Okay, because he picked me last time, but I don't know. I can't see for the life of me anyone in the chat. So, Ty, you pick the girl.
Show me the chat.
It's okay. Ty, you want to pick someone?
Sure, if I could see the chat. I can't bring it up. I have no controls over here.
Okay, Goddess says she wants it. The labyrinth shirt.
Good. Done.
Okay, so pick someone else here, Ty, for the American flag shirt.
That's great. Who likes the American flag shirts? Go show it. Let's see. Is it completely melon? Is it completely Mandela
Save it for
affected?
next 4th of July.
Yeah.
I can't see any list of the chat.
Is there any chatter?
Oh, nobody can see the
Wait,
chat.
Ed says don't pick him.
Aw. Yeah, I can't
It's
see
Christmas.
anybody.
It's a spirit of giving.
You should wear that shirt, Brian. Put it on.
Which you mean like which one?
The tank top.
Labyrinth?
No.
Oh no.
The girl. Do it. Nothing would beat that face paint, that war paint you had on 4th of July. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? Wait,
I missed that. I missed that completely.
That was in November.
Oh, that's for Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yeah.
That one.
Meegs, why don't you take this shirt? It's a medium.
What? I'll take it.
Okay.
I wanted to go to somebody in the chat though.
Flag residue.
But I wouldn't say no.
All right. I'll send it to you.
Sounds wonderful.
Cha-ching.
Thank you guys for both being good sports on the show. We normally have a much bigger audience, and we do well with a smaller audience as well.
Yep. I'm glad anybody's listening.
I know, right?
Even if it's just guys.
And I thought about taking next week off. I'm not sure yet. What do you guys think? Do you want to take a Mandela break next Friday, or
it might be nice to chat for an hour, but a break would be nice too. It doesn't matter. We might all be feeling like weird.
It's completely up to you, but you know what happens, Brian. I got to tell you, what happens is that Mandela effects pop up, and if people are freaking out, then we're going to have to go online. That's what happens.
I know.
Megs, did you see the thing at the Los Angeles thing? Are you aware of that?
The what? The Los Angeles what?
There's like looks like a plasma missile or blue beam or something going on.
I think I just saw that.
Yeah.
That's freaky. Yeah, we're probably going to have to get on for like an hour at least. Christmas special.
We'll see. The thing that blew me away, I was unaware, the Jackson 5 is now Jackson 6.
Right. Yeah, Scarab did a video about that. That's crazy. That's like the village people.
I know, like, we've seen enough of it, and there's just so many effects. I tried
Jackson, by the way.
Logos,
Who is the 6th Jackson? Do we know?
What's his name?
Randy?
Is it Randy? But I even asked the lady who cut my hair today what she remembers, and she said Michael Jackson was the youngest one, and now there's one that's supposedly younger than Michael.
There was nobody younger than Michael at all. Not Randy. I thought Randy Jackson was just unrelated to the Jacksons, but I don't know.
Is Randy Jackson doing anything now?
He's just like American Idol for a while.
No. Randy Jackson on American Idol is not related to Michael Jackson.
Wait,
right.
Is he?
But they're saying he is now, right?
No, what?
Are they?
No. I mean, now you gotta go look something up. If they said no,
I don't know.
Okay,
it's just weird how they announce.
There is a Randy Jackson, but I don't think that's him.
It's not the American Idol guy. Okay, I need to look into it more. I was thinking it's the American Idol guy.
I was thinking that too for some reason. Is it a different Randy?
It better be, because I remember Janet, of course, and I remember this guy named Tito. I don't have very much talent. Tito, and then there's Jermaine, and there's a Randy. Okay, but the Randy Jackson, you understand? When Michael Jackson died, He was 50. He was 50. Several years back, he died, and he was 50. Okay. Yes. So Randy Jackson has to be about, if it is the same Randy Jackson, he has to be roughly, what, 110, right? 5?
I don't know.
He's got to be up there.
Michael Jackson. You know, what time is it when it's time to go to bed at Michael Jackson's house? It's when the big hand touches the little hand.
Wah, wah. Well, way to leave it on a sour, awkward note, Brian. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, it was fun.
Yeah.
We're definitely not gonna have. I mean, we're gonna have to like meet up again and not, of course, you know, not do a show. You know what I'm saying?
We'll probably do something. We'll at least get on for a few minutes, maybe. But it's your party, Brian, so you get to pick.
Yeah, just probably keep it real light. Oh, Ty left.
Ty's out of here.
Yep, and that's the end of the show, folks. Hold on to your memories. Don't let anyone else suck them away from you.
Right. And you're not cool. I mean, you're cool for caring about the world you live in and your reality. So just take that with you. And you're cool for okay. You're cool if you love Jesus too, no matter what anyone tells you.
Meegs, I don't know if you got to see the chat, but everyone said they love you, okay?
Aw, much love to you guys. I'm sorry
Rena,
I can't see you.
Mr. Sir Kenny, everyone's saying they love you, so.
Aw, thanks, guys. Everyone have a wonderful. Well, I'll let you say it, Brian, about having a wonderful Mandela Effect evening.
Well, have a great Mandela Effect night, and God bless. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.